Very debate. Although I suspect in the future that particular intro may
Hello.
become more unpopular. Fellow typewriter people, let's do that.
That's
People,
very true.
people. Let's do
Right.
the old Chill Wills thing from McClintock.
We shall see. We shall see. Yeah. So I ran to the. I have to make some feet for a rocket. You don't have any feet for Hermes rocket. Do
We
you there,
discussed
Mark?
this last week. I'm going
Oh,
to
right.
soonly. I just have to wait for the guy to send me the originals, and I'll start casting them.
Have you ever? I got these really great, and this is a personal machine. This isn't a customer's machine. Let me preface with that.
Okay.
You ever use these flip flops? I think
No, I haven't.
I think the drama on the rubber is perfect, and it's got this great grip on the bottom because it's made to be under our feet, right?
No, okay.
Anyways,
Oh.
I may try that out just to cut their, they're just square,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll put a slot in the side and slip the metal in, plug hole, whatever. So I might
See if
try
it works.
that just for the fun of it. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I want to
No.
try it.
I have stuffed JP ones full of meditation mats and felt and all kinds of stuff. So I mean, you do what you use, what the tools at hand, really. So
That's right.
Yes.
so
It might just be a happy coincidence that these 99-cent store flip flops might be the
Mhm.
savior for cutting out square. Who knows? Maybe the typewriter will move all over the place and it'll just be a big mess. But
you will find out because you are an experimenter.
exactly. Yeah, should be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I ended up unpacking all those typers yesterday
Hi.
that I got. And
Yeah.
so
So tell us about these typewriters. It looked like a big pallet of typewriters.
Yeah, I had it moved out. Well, let me think. I mean, I guess they're here now, so it's not. Do you guys remember that big estate sale that was over was it in North Carolina? Now I don't even remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
That was
remember
probably
that.
several months ago. But
Mhm.
then some guy came in and bought most of the typewriters before the auction even started.
Uh,
That was me. So,
You've been uncovered.
right. And that they're in my possession now, so I don't mind. And it's not like the lady was real nice. I was able to make it all happen. I had a liaison there who made it all happen. It's not like I wasn't there. Anywho, so it was a nice investment because they're nice machines, and I'm real glad I did because I haven't got all the details worked out, but next month, Gregory, there will be a display at the Riverside Art Museum of several typewriters, as well as a living interactive table with several typewriters on it, and it will all be put together by yours truly.
Wow.
Yay!
That is awesome.
Right.
That is awesome.
So I've got a big rack behind me of machines. I put another rack behind me, and the rack simply says, "These are for display. These we need to repair. These we can use for demo machines, etc." So
Okay. Getting organized.
yeah, I'm trying. I'm really trying. The other ones, there were a few machines of those ones that I purchased that I think just need a little too much work for, in the next 2 weeks. But I was very excited to get this call from the Riverside Art Museum a few days ago. And actually it wasn't them. It was one of their board members. It was Katie from Inlandia.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So I'm doing a few other things with her as well. I'm going to do a large presentation on how to put out an audio book. Inlandia is our local group that reaches out to a lot of writers. We've got several writing groups here locally. We're very fortunate in that regard. But Inlandia is a really great group in the community here in the Inland Empire, Riverside, San Bernardino. We also call it the Inland Empire. So Inlandia does really good things, in my humble opinion. Mostly they get people's books published. They do it in a very old-fashioned way. So they're very excited to have me present to all their members on, by the way, you can do an audiobook. Oh, and by the way, you can do an ebook. So I'm going to be doing a few classes for Inlandia. And then she said she was sitting there in this Riverside Art Museum meeting, and they said, well, what are we going to do this summer? And she said, I know a guy who does typewriters. How about typewriters? So they got real excited. So we're getting all the details. You know, do they want me to take up 10 square feet? Do they want me to take up 100 square feet? I said, I'm happy to do whatever's needed.
Excellent. That is so
1,000 square feet.
awesome.
Yeah, right.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
1,000 square feet in downtown Riverside gets real pricey really quick. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope, you know, and I'm sure the museum's quite old. I'm sure it's only 10,000 square feet or something at the end. It's not too large, but it'll be really neat. And that's been fun too, going through, really enjoying the fact that I have a few Remington quiet writers that work well. And those are things that people can play with. Maybe some Brothers, maybe some, you know, Smith Corona, you know, Super Silence. So I've got tangible machines for people. So I'm very excited to see how that all works out. Anyways, if I call you next week, Gregory, and I'm like, hey, what do you got? Please don't be surprised. But
Yeah. That could be arranged. Definitely.
well, you have a few gems, and I suspect you have a few, what do we call typewriters that we're okay letting other people touch? I came up with demo, like these are demonstration typewriters, but
Kid friendly.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I definitely have some of
kid
those.
friendly, yes. Yeah.
Olympia
so
SMs, definitely.
yeah, I got one of those that I think, you know, people can play with. It'll be very exciting, and it'll be, every machine will have a card that they play with. This is this machine. This is what it is. I even pulled out the Oliver too. That's the other thing. Like, you know, we need a lot of different machines. I'm excited to display the Oliver, even though it doesn't work. I reckon I should order some of Lucas Dahl's pencils, so I have a pencil to put in the holder, right?
Oh, you have the holder.
Yeah, the
Impressive.
holder's still here on this one.
Wow.
I would show it to you, but it just weighs way too much. Anyways, yes, typewriters at museums coming soon. That'll be a lot of fun. Gregory, I hope you can be around or assist me. Or I told her about you.
Excellent.
For some reason, I brought you up. I said, I've got this other friend, Gregory, who does this, but he's okay. He's a librarian. He's not like just some loser county employee like me. He's an actual real librarian. He's very important to our society.
I would love to help you, Bob. That's an amazing thing you're doing, and I think it's a fantastic way to proselytize. I don't know if that's a word, but you know,
Proselytize, evangelize.
Evangelize. That's the word I was looking for. Evangelize typewriters and get people excited about it, and so we can have more people competing with us for typewriters.
Well, that's true. I was, obviously, for me, it's always about, this is my process. Typewriters are a part of my process as an author, and how can we get other people excited in that? Most of the people who buy machines from me, it's that they're busy writing their biographies, which is great. I almost said they're writing their autobiographies, but that doesn't make any sense. So they like to write, or maybe they like to write fiction, but regardless, they're on a computer screen 8 hours a day. They don't want to come home and sit down at another computer screen. So they're very excited to have the typewriters. Whatever. I mean, we can go on and on. The list goes on and on. So how do we remind people that this is still a working machine, and the tactile experience is real?
Real.
Yeah, it's very real. And
Actual.
Lucky us to get to touch them, rebuild them, and it'll be easier in the future. I think there'll be more repair people like me who can take in typewriters for people, rebuild them, or then sell them. And that's always been the give and take, right? It's happened a few times where I know they've purchased a machine for maybe they purchased a machine for $100 and then it needs another $100 of work. And then, so by the time you're all done, they've got $250 into the machine. And I've looked at it and said, well, I would have sold them this machine for $250 myself. So it all, it all kind of equals out in the wash the same, right? So it'll be very exciting to see what the future brings in that.
Yeah, excellent.
I
Well,
see
we do
someone
have-
named. Go ahead.
We do have a new face. I think
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
having the same thought at the same time. And Marvin, how are you?
Hello. I'm fine. How are you?
Very good. Very
Very
good.
good.
Thank you so much for joining Type Pals last night. You signed up for the directory, right?
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah. I remembered your name. Excellent. So since you're new, do you just want to tell us just briefly about yourself? Are you having an echo?
No, sorry. What was it?
Oh, since you're new, do you want to just tell us briefly about yourself?
Yes, how do I begin? I'm 15 years old. I have a Brother Deluxe 750 TR, which is, from what I know, not well respected. But I do have an Olympia. I forgot what's the model number, but it's in my storage. So
Okay.
probably going to fix it tomorrow.
And where are you located?
I'm in Indonesia.
Yes.
Cool.
Very cool. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I work with my typewriter, so it's not just a hobby per se, but I do work with it daily. So aside from it being a hobby, I like using it.
Very nice. Very nice. Do you have you written any letters in the past? I know you joined the directory, so you're planning on writing letters, but have you written letters using typewriters?
Yes, I actually am in the International Slide Rule Museum.
Oh,
Yes, so I deal with correspondence.
okay.
I deal with correspondence daily, so it would be very nice if I could send some letters to you.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be fun.
And slide rules. I'm sure that there's a lot of us that have slide rules. So.
I'm excited to hear how Marvin works with his typewriter every day. I've had people explain to me how are you doing legal documentation where you are, Marvin? Legal documentation?
And no, mostly academic work.
Oh, of course.
Ah.
Okay, very exciting. I think where you live there's a lot of legal documentation done with typewriters, right?
Not really. Here, typewriters are obsolete.
Mhm.
Okay.
India is where they do a lot of legal documents on the
Oh,
street.
India.
With,
Yes. Street
Oh.
typewriters. Yeah, street typers.
Okay.
I misheard. This goes back to my other previous comment. I'm getting too old.
Yes,
So sorry, Marvin. Well,
Yes,
that's
he's
very
in-
exciting.
he's in Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gregory, you need to start having a globe in the background where you can stick pins from all the countries that have
No,
come
huh?
by and joined us.
It's pretty crazy. I
For
love it.
people like Bob.
Love it.
I think Sean lives up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right? Is that where Sean is?
And if there's beer here, I'm there.
And how are you, Sean?
I'm very good. I decided to wear my Gregory hat today, my Ted Monk hat.
Flat cap.
I've been doing this on and off ever since we started, just hoping that it catches on and more people wear them. And it was getting pretty good there for a while. You noticed there were a bunch of people, but nobody ever talked about it. So I'm bringing it up officially now. I think, everybody needs to get their flat cap and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we need to get one with the Type Pals logo right there.
That's a good idea.
Like this.
And then I can,
Repurpose that
Oh,
keychain
Bob.
thing.
and then I can do a Canadian edition. We'll do a toque with the Type Pals logo on it.
There you go.
That
There
would
you
be
Holy-
go.
good.
I don't
That
think
would
I've
be
ever
good.
seen Ted's head. Did you just see that? We got a. This is recorded, right?
It's going straight to YouTube. So
Wow,
we're
I've
gonna
never
share it
seen
all
Ted's
over the
head before.
That's funny. And Indro, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Yeah.
I
Is
did
there
some.
any-
I did some typewriter repair yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I think I showed you last week the Electra 210.
Ah,
And
yeah.
I was typing on it 2 days ago and it broke down.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
I'll show you 1 second.
Yeah.
I like Indro because every time he comes on, he's in a different room in his house.
I know, huh?
Oh, that wheel.
Yeah, and it is. There
Oh.
you see it.
You lost some teeth.
Yep.
Oh.
That out of a Smith Corona.
Yep.
Yeah, I recognize that.
Yeah, but I was lucky. I have, I think, 2 or 3 other ones. One is the with the cartridge in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I took only the plastic gear out and I replaced it with that one. So this is the part that it's from the other, let me say, the donor machine. So with the old, this one came out of the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing difficult to figure out is that there's a nut here, and that I believe makes the tension for this part. Yeah, can you see it? For this
There we
part.
go. That's better.
All right. So there's this is like, it needs to be torqued down to a certain, and then this bottom nut, it will fix it. But I think I figured it out, how much tension it needs, because this one needs to be free, but not too much. You see, it can turn now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but all right.
So Indro, was there too much tension, and that's what was causing the teeth to come off, or is it just, it's partly probably the old plastic? Like that plastic from the Smiths was not that good after 80 or 60 years.
That's an interesting question, because I think it could be both. Turn this down a little bit, because the holding screw that goes in the back of this one, if you tighten it too much, the whole turning is more heavy. So
Yeah.
if you unscrew that one, it goes lighter. If you screw this one too tight, there's too much tension on the plastic wheel. So it's a combination, I think.
Yeah. Well, at least you got a couple more to test on before you get it right with the third one.
Yeah, I feel the difference when I've tried like 4 combinations, and I think it's pretty good right now, but I think I need less tension on the screw that fixes this one, because it has a little hole in here, which it positions it, and then it runs. And I think the only way to find out is the carriage. It moves very light or heavy, left to right, if this one is too much tension. All right. So, yeah. But it works again. I needed it because I was bidding on a new house. So I wrote a letter to the people who sell the house. So because there were many people interested in that house. So I have to do a blind bidding. So I wrote a letter with it. I think I'm the only one who wrote a letter on a typewriter with it.
Hopefully
you will stand out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of funny because recently there was a story here. I don't know if it was in our local newspaper, the Press Enterprise, or if it was in the LA Times, or maybe even USA Today. Those are usually the newspaper websites I frequent. But they had a story asking about the legality of essentially love letters to for buying a house, essentially suggesting that it could lead to discrimination, and so they're trying to decide if they should be allowed or if they should be illegal. So yeah, but it's interesting that people do that. We never even, it never even crossed our minds, but the people that owned our house, they were in a pretty bad place. So yeah, they were selling the house for about a third of what they paid. So
Ouch.
yeah.
Well, as you know, the Netherlands is pretty small.
Yeah.
So the city where I live is relatively big.
Okay.
But there are only 200 houses for sale now.
Oh wow.
The whole market in the Netherlands is pretty stressed. This is a house where we saw 1.5 weeks ago because we were walking with the dog, and it's outside the city. It's in the middle of the woods. So the attention for it was high. So there were like at least 40, 50 couples looking at it, and made an appointment to have a how do you say that? A sighting, something like that. And the price you have to bid on it is usually 10% at least higher than what they're asking at this moment. So it's crazy, but for me, well, the mortgage that we have right now is pretty low, and the value of this place is pretty high. So
Yeah.
I think I can move my mortgage easily, and I will end up paying less than I pay now. And it would be my sixth house that I would buy. So
Wow.
I think I hope my last one. So I
I
climbed
know,
up,
huh?
so it should be all right. But hopefully, I think maybe tomorrow or the day after we will get a phone call. But my chances are, I think we did everything that we could, but maybe if some person a bit more, but like 10
Yeah.
or 20 or 30, oh, that's my wife.
Hello, wife.
We just have to sit and wait, and then well, maybe something else will come by. If it's not, and if it's a yes, well, I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Indro, the most important question is there more space for typewriters in this new house if you get it?
Depends how you look at it. The garden, if I
Sorry,
sit out in the garden, it's about 2,000 square meters. So I don't know how you translate that into in US terms, but it's big.
Oh.
Yeah, that sounds large.
Yeah, it is really, really large. So we can have pet animals like chickens and maybe some goats or things like that. But the house is a little bit smaller, but it still has 1, 2, 3 bedrooms and 1 study. So
Wow.
it should be all right.
Yeah.
We can always build you a shop out back for your typewriters, right? If you got 2,000 square meters, that's a fairly large typewriter shop.
Yeah, you could always have a man shed like Joe Van Cleve. Hi,
The
Joe.
patio. All right. So, but
How are you
I'm
guys?
happy that I fixed this gear, because at first I didn't know what it was, because it made a sound from hell. I was like, what is this? And so I turned it off, and I couldn't get it away, because as soon as I turned it back on, it would make a horrible noise. But
Oh.
some searching on the internet, and Phoenix Typewriter had the answer.
That's right. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right.
That's very good. So, yeah, how are you, Joe?
I am good. How are you doing, Gregory?
Very good.
All right.
Yeah.
How's the weather out your way?
It's overcast, but I'm sure the sun will come out.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, we had rain this week. Every day just about we've had rain in the afternoon, so it's kind of nice. It's almost like the summer monsoons have come early,
Jealous.
So, yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
And Brent, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Brendy, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Excellent. Very good. Very
Good
good.
to see everybody.
Yeah, good to see you too. Yeah.
And
So,
at the appropriate time, I do have a little bit of news.
Go for it. This is appropriate.
This seems
hopefully,
very
hopefully it's
appropriate.
good news.
So I took Mr. Van Cleve's advice and got 2 of the Pilot Plumex. Those are my first 2 fountain pens.
Bravo.
Nice.
But I didn't stop there.
Oh no.
I got 3 of the Pilot Metropolitans.
A very solid pen. Very solid.
Yeah.
And then
But wait,
I
there's more.
She has an instant collection.
I got and I have to look at it every time because I forget the letters. TWSBI
Twisby.
Diamond
Twisby.
580.
Oh yes,
And
I
that's
have that same pin. That's a nice
that's
pin.
with the stub
Oh,
nib. I don't know if you can see it. Ah!
yes, yes. Wow.
And that, well, what's hilarious is I bought it not realizing it was a piston fill because I know nothing about fountain pens, and I had no ink, no bottled ink, so I had to buy ink.
Yeah.
Well,
Why
you'll
is it-
soon discover the joys of bottled ink, and
Oh,
pretty soon you'll have a whole collection of ink bottles.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Why is it that every time Joe talks, people buy stuff every week?
Yeah,
He's
It's a
born
gift.
I need to figure out how to market this.
You really do.
The Joe Van
Really
Cleef
do.
store.
Yeah.
Careful, otherwise we'll be smoking big cigars as well.
Don't do that. Do as I say, not as I do.
Ah.
I'm gonna.
I have the electronic one though.
Oh,
Natasha, do you have a big cigar?
yes, she does.
Oh my God.
It's a electronic.
Oh, electronic.
Oh,
Oh.
I used to smoke back in the day, like real cigarettes, but I quit that a while back. So
Yeah.
but every now and then I have that urge to do it. So
Yeah.
I have some cigarettes to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had this for a few years. I showed it last week, but y'all didn't really see.
Oh, okay. Oh, what is that?
Oh, that's beautiful, whatever. Man. Whoever.
And that is going to be my new typewriter. Her name is Ruby Red Dress, and she's coming to me from Unplugged Typewriter Company.
Wow.
Yes.
That thing is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's so exciting, Brandy. Well done.
That's very pretty.
Yeah, that's what all the car guys go crazy for, right? Candy apple red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, and I'm a car guy, so
Yeah, or car gal or car lady. Sorry.
We're just working on that, Sean.
What, to be a
I'll
car
show
lady?
you the car I bought my husband probably next time.
Okay.
So,
Oh, that's great. That'll be really nice. Well done. Good score.
Yeah, definitely.
okay, that's my news.
We can't wait to see it in person.
Me too.
When are you expecting it?
Late this week.
Oh, okay. Very good.
When are you expecting?
I'm due on Friday.
Oh,
Joe's got a
So-
new machine too. He hasn't
Oh yeah,
told us
keeping
about.
with the car theme, does that mean we're gonna race our cars? I don't know if you can see this. My camera needs to be tilted, but there's my Optima Super.
Oh, birdie.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and it's a pretty machine. It's the other machine that of course I said months ago that I was cutting down on my collection, and my wife was reminding me of that last week when I showed up with this. But I guess what I've really done is I've just refocused my collection. Maybe I got rid of a few machines I wasn't using, and now I'm just finding a few that I like better. So
yeah.
Curating.
Curating, yes, exactly.
However you
I
want to
guess, Ted,
rationalize it.
you've done that over the years, I'm assuming.
The last couple of years, now that I'm not really out shopping much, yeah, I basically have been taking the machines I have and just making them better. And, you know,
Yep.
Appreciating more my own collection, loving the ones I'm with, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, as the song goes.
Now, Joe, if you were to decide to remove other typewriters from your collection, are there any potential candidates of ones you would possibly?
That's a good question. See, I was thinking about the categories of typewriters you really want for yourself versus typewriters you might want to have because you're going to do public typewriter meetings and you need rugged, durable typewriters for the public to use. And you may not want your best machines to be used by people that don't know what they're doing. And maybe you can't supervise every typewriter and you don't want some kid mangling one of your prized possessions. So I do have the Galaxy 12 that is a nice machine, you know, and but I just don't use it that much. But on the other hand, it's one of those kind of rugged machines you want to have for a type out, or type in, you know. So that's kind of like where I'm at. Is I need a few extra machines just for that. But if I wasn't going to do that, I would consider maybe getting rid of the Galaxy 12 for no other reason than I'm just not using it that much.
Okay.
Mainly because it's a 12-inch carriage, and you know they're a little heavier and a little bigger to carry around and stuff. But there's nothing really wrong with them. They're good machines. So.
Yeah. By the way, are you into slide rules? And this may be a silly question.
Well, that's interesting. I used to have a circular slide rule.
Okay.
And I think I lost my slide rule collection over the years, moving and all that. But I have a few slide rules, but I've not. I guess I've purposefully not collected them because it's one of those things that's. I see a number of slide rules in the local antique stores and thrift stores, and it's easy to start spending a lot of money on slide rules locally, and I don't want to do that. So I purposely have ignored slide rules. But yeah,
they would take up abacus space.
That had a science kind of oriented booth at one of those antique malls. And he had all kinds of antique scientific instruments, including one of those massive slide rules that is like a turret with bars. Each one is a slide rule.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's equivalent to like a 7-foot long slide rule folded into this round turret that has all these slide rules. He had one of those, and he had one of these giant classroom slide rules that they used to teach slide rules back in the day.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can probably ask Marvin what that was, and he'll be able to show you.
Oh yeah.
Our new member Marvin Clarence is in Indonesia, and he's part of a group of slide rule collectors. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And we as Ted was pointing out, we've placed another pin on the map of different countries that we're reaching, so which is really awesome.
Telling Gregory needs to buy a globe and put it in the background and put stick pins in it every time someone comes in from.
Have a globe that continuously turns.
Mm-hmm. On one of those robot arms that
yeah, there you go. That'd be cool.
It'll look like a Mystery Science Theater prop.
Angela, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Were you getting a kitty kiss?
No, I'm eating a pork chop, so he was checking breath. He's like, "Oh, your breath smells really good."
That's funny.
Yeah, I just got home from church, so I'm grabbing this bite to eat.
Oh.
He wants my bite to eat.
And here I thought he was giving you a kitty kiss.
Nope.
So is there anything new in your world?
This is not my house. I wish that was my house. It looks really nice, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Wonders of Zoom. Now, I tried to get some new typewriters. I was arranged to meet someone, and he bailed on me. Said he was busy. Next thing I know, he had deleted himself from the group, the station. So, yeah. And then I went thrift store shopping on the way to a funeral, as some of us take every advantage we can to look for typewriters.
True.
And found none in the thrift store I went to.
Wow.
So I would like to have a new typewriter to show you today, but I do not.
No, that's okay. All that matters is that you're here. So
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. I think it was I don't know if it was last week or the week before that. I found myself in downtown Riverside, so I decided to pop into the Mission Galleria, which is a very large 3-story antique mall.
Mm-hmm.
I kid you not, I looked at every single booth, and they had 3 typewriters. One was an Oliver 9 that was in horrendous condition. One was some off-brand ultra portable that was not very exciting. It was like a plastic body.
Yeah.
And they were asking like 125 for it or something like that.
Mm.
And the third one, the third one leaves my mind, but I know they had 3 typewriters. So, and I walked out empty-handed.
Yeah.
But in that huge antique mall, I can't believe there was only 3 typewriters.
Yeah, I've noticed that trend. There aren't very many. Also, I made an offer on one this week on Marketplace, and it was in a nearby town. It's like 5 miles from here. They wanted $100 for it. I think it was a Galaxy 12, like we were talking about. Not worth $100. And there are no other collectors here. It had been on the market. I mean, they listed it 17 weeks ago, so they didn't even bother to respond. So I was like, well, good luck. No, not going to sell it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Nobody else around to buy it.
I know, huh?
I think that happens a lot, though. People don't respond because they don't know how the app works. They don't know they're supposed to respond. Their phone doesn't give. I get it all the time where all of a sudden, 8 months later, they go, oh, I didn't realize this was the inbox. I was wondering why this stuff didn't sell. Whatever.
Wow.
And or well, no, I'm not located in Riverside. I'm way up in Burbank. Do you know how to fix that? And I just go, you know what? The internet may not be for you. I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, these things happen. So give it 8 or 9 months, then they'll reply and go, oh, yeah.
Oh, and Eric, how are you?
Good. How's everybody doing?
Very good. Very
Wow.
good. I don't know if you were watching earlier, but did you see Brandy's instant fountain pen collection?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was watching from YouTube. I'll probably be in and out of things because I gotta get ready today because I'm photographing a wedding later, so I gotta leave a little earlier. But yeah, actually, I got a new fountain pen myself. This is it's a Senator pen I got from protopens.com. It's green, but it looks black.
Okay.
It's a vintage pen from the 70s, from Yugoslavia.
Wow.
Yugoslavia.
But vintage Bach nib, which you can't really see, but there's a goat on there. I know Gregory likes goats.
I approve.
Goats.
That's excellent. Very cool. I don't have any vintage pens in my collection.
Yeah, I've only got a couple.
Nervous. So
yeah,
I have a few, but I find the new ones tend to write better generally.
Yeah.
This one writes pretty well. But I have a few vintage fountain pens. One of them I got at an antique store was a Parker 51, and that one didn't look like it had been used at all. It was completely clean. I didn't even have to clean it out. I mean, I still did, but there was no ink that came out of it. And then this one I got from protopens.com, which they restore the pens. So they so you know you're gonna get a pen that writes, and they give you a 1-year warranty. So so it's my first time buying from them, but I'll probably buy from them again because I'm pretty happy with this pen.
Yeah. And
so what do the vintage pens use? Do they have cartridges, or do they have the converters, or what do the Old one.
It depends. This one is a piston. So this is a blind cap that this part is a blind cap. This black thingy.
Okay.
So you twist that, and it draws up the ink into the piston. And this part here is the ink window. So it has a pretty good ink capacity. And then Parker 51 that I have is different. It has the aerometric one, which is kind of like the
pilot ones.
Yeah, the pilot Metropolitan one. I think the Con 20, or I can't remember which one it is, but it's sort of like that. You squeeze it and it sucks up the ink that way. And then some pens, like actually I do have another vintage pen, forgot about. This one is a lever fill, so there's a sack in here, and you I don't think there's any ink in here.
You don't want to
find out.
Basically
you will find out.
Yeah, there's no ink in here, so you just do that, and it squeezes the there's like a pressure bar in there, and so it squeezes the latex sac, and then it sucks up the ink that way.
Excellent.
So
there's all sorts of different filling mechanisms.
Yeah.
There's a 1928 Parker Junior in the Jade green. So this has got the sack. So you'll find pretty much back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, it was all sacks until Parker
I can't see you. Oh, there we go.
revolutionized it. So this one, much the same as what Eric's showing, except you got a little button on top. You had to push the button, and the button pushed a little bar to squeeze the sack inside. And then when you let off on the button, the bar would let off and the sack would suck up. This is just the Junior, but that's probably the biggest trouble, is replacing sacks, but it's not really. It's usually just taking these desiccated old prehistoric things out of here and replacing them. But yeah, it's 2021, and 1921 was when Parker first came out with their dual fold. So if you're really keen and want to spend like $1,000 on a pen, the new Parker dual fold.
Wow.
I won't be one of those people.
Yeah. I'm eyeing some at an auction. If they go cheap, I'll get them, and people can tell me how to use them.
Absolutely.
So Angela, how do you like your Plumix? Have you tried them?
What?
The Plumix pens?
I only have Metropolitan.
Oh,
Okay.
it was
Metropolitans right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It was Brandy that had the
Brandy. Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Have you tried those out yet, Brandy?
I did, and because those were the first ones I got, and like Sean said, they were gateway pens. I like immediately had to have more.
Yeah. Just wait until you start, like Joe said, wait until you start getting bottled ink. You're going to be so addicted.
Ink is off.
I'm there. I've got it. I've got 3 bottles.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. For me, when I first started, the first pens that I got were the Jinhao X450s. So I got 2 of those. And at that point, I was like, this is nice, but I don't think I could ever spend more than $10 on a pen. And then like it just progressively kind of went up from there, and it's just like, well, I would never spend more than $60 on a pen. Oh, well, I would never spend more than $100 and then that's how you drain your bank account. So
yeah.
Then you start buying fountain pen ink by the liter.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I could never go through a gallon of black ink.
What's bad is when you buy a lot of ink and you find out you don't like it.
Yeah.
But then you have all this ink that you don't like.
Yeah, that's why you got to buy sample vials. So I got like a whole bunch of like those little 2 milliliter samples that you get from Goulet pens.
Yeah.
And so you can try out, different ink colors and see if it's one that you like.
Yeah. I think it was I subscribe to Truffet, their subscription box for fountain pens. So you get I'm at the lowest level, which is $25. So you get a decent pen, which actually I've been very impressed with their pens lately. and you get ink samples. So this is really like, yeah, it's definitely increased my addiction. Oh my goodness, yeah. So, but it's an excellent way to try out different inks, the ink samples. So, because when I first subscribed to them, I opted for the $5 more box, which you would get a full bottle of ink. But I ended up with one too many reds that I did not like. And red kind of has a limited use anyway, at least in my mind. And if it's a red that you don't really like and you have a full bottle of it, you're like, oh, I'm stuck with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I switched to the sample sizes, and that's much better. So
Yeah, I didn't discover samples until after I already bought a whole bunch of ink bottles, and then now I probably have more ink than I could ever use in my lifetime.
I know.
I didn't know about the samples. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, all the major pen retailers online offer ink samples, and they're usually very, very cheap, like $2, maybe $3 max. And it's an excellent way to try the ink before you spend, $15 to $50 or $60 on ink, or maybe even more actually. Yeah, so I definitely recommend the ink samples. Just be careful, because they're easy to knock over. So
Yeah, Goulet Pens has a like a little I don't have it anymore because I didn't have a good place to put it, but it was it's like a little tray, and you can it has like all the little holes in it, and you just put all your sample vials in there, and it kind of prevents it from getting knocked over. So they sell those.
Definitely a good idea.
What subscription did you say you use, Gregory?
It's TrueFay. I'll put it in the comments here.
It sounds familiar. I think I've seen them on Instagram.
I've seen Gregory's reviews of some of the TrueFay's products on his YouTube channel.
Yeah. I think their website is truefayinc.com, inc.com. I could be wrong, but if you look up TrueFay, it'll come right up. It's spelled kind of funny there, TRUPHAE. And in addition to selling pens and ink and accessories like that, they also have those subscription boxes called the Incredible Pen Box. And I'm at the Inkmeister level, so that's the cheapest level. The next level up is $75, so I might treat myself to that for my birthday or something, but that'd just be like a one-time thing. Because $75 a month on fountain pens, I can't do that.
So with the different subscription levels, do they give you more ink with each one, or is it just like a more expensive pen?
More expensive pen, and they give you like at my level, they just send you whatever pen. At the higher levels, you can specify what nib size you like, what colors of ink you like, what brands of pens you like, and so on. So it's much more customizable. And so the $75 box I think is considered the mid-range, and then they have a $150 box, which is like you're getting like essentially a $200 pen basically. So yeah.
Gregory, when you say levels, it reminds me of Amway and multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a different kind of level.
Do we have to go to the TrueFay meetings now?
Well, Gregory gets a discount because he's a brand ambassador. No, I'm
Yeah. That's right. Sell the pins to all your family and friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to get my dad into fountain pens.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. My second oldest brother, when we were teenagers, he briefly got into fountain pens. I think he only ever had the one. And to me, I could not comprehend how it even wrote. It looks like it looks like you're writing with essentially a blade, you know. As I couldn't comprehend how it wrote, and yet he did well with it, but he only went as far as one pen, so it was just a passing thing for him, I think. So yeah. So does anybody have a typing prompt?
I do.
Okay.
But am I the only one?
I have one.
Oh,
And
well, let's have you do yours first because I'm in the middle of something right now. So.
oh, okay.
But I wanted to
All
let
right.
you know that I did do the homework assignment.
Very good. I appreciate it. Okay, so the typing prompt was the most fun I've had gifting a typewriter to someone else.
Gregory, before you start, I think I'm still pinned as the speaker.
Oh, you are. Well, you're special like that.
I think people would much rather look at you.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. All right. Oh, we have a couple people we're gonna get in. Whoops. All right. I'll wait for them to join, and then I'll read it. In the meantime, I will briefly show. Let me spotlight myself. So the first half of yesterday was an extremely creative time for me. Like, I think I recorded and edited 3 videos. I customized a notebook, which is going to be my next journal, and yeah. So I'll show this to you, and so.
Oh yeah, Rhodia. I love those.
So it's Rhodia, and it's actually a meeting. I think they call it a meeting book. Yeah, it's a meeting book, which this came in a subscription box, and I was like, well, I could probably use it for a journal. I wouldn't use this in an actual meeting, but I thought I would test it out with different fountain pen inks and see how it works, because my Moleskine apparently is not very fountain pen friendly. But this,
well, Rhodia being French made usually works really well with fountain pens, right?
Yeah. Rhodia is my favorite fountain pen paper.
Yeah, so this works well, and I don't know. You can see down here. There's like no bleed through. There's a little bit of I believe what they call ghosting, where you can kind of see through a little bit.
I've been using those Rhodia notebooks for meetings with fountain pens at work for the last 3 years. I've gone through about 4 of them now. Awesome.
Excellent. Now, my biggest complaint about this, and you can tell because it's getting blown out. There we go. What a boring cover that is.
I know.
Is that one of the special edition ones?
That's just the right one.
It's just a meeting book.
So it's not orange. It's not Rhodia orange.
No. Yeah, they are famous for their orange. Now, they do have orange on the little bits of the pages there.
I see. Yeah.
But
you're supposed to decorate it with stickers.
Well, you know,
PayPal stickers.
I went a step above that, actually. So I've mentioned before the papers I get from paperandmore.com, which I use as my typing papers. Well, in the samples I got, there was a lot of cardstock as well. And some of them are like really, really nice with interesting textures. So I made a cover out of that.
Oh, nice.
So the wood grain texture that you can see there, hopefully you can make that out.
Yeah.
That's actually embossed in the paper. So there's an actual texture to the paper. And then I took a second color of that paper and made little corners there. And then on the back, I added, the main part is the darker paper that I used on the corners on the front. And then I added a light strip there. And then of course I had to personalize it with I hand carved a rubber stamp of the Riverside Rain Cross symbol, which is the symbol for our city. And then I hand carved a stamp of my signature G. So
So how did you unbind the book to put the cover in?
see that now, so
with great difficulty.
Yeah.
Did you watch his recent video?
No.
Is that what you did?
I actually, so I put the holes in the paper, and then if you cut little slits on each hole, then you could just pop it in, just like
I see.
Like,
I do remember
like
that. Yes.
Or like the disc binding.
Like it's a disc binding method. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, yeah.
That came out awesome.
Yeah, and it's, even though it has those cuts, I mean, it's super strong.
It's way more exciting than the normal one.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So Gregory, the original cover on that notebook, is that plastic? The one on the inside, is that?
No, it's
a cardstock.
Cardstock, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I left it there just
Yeah.
for added stability, I guess.
No, that's really good. I like it.
Yeah. And then I made a video like summarizing it, and yeah. All right. So let's see here. Let me get rid of myself here.
Get rid of yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'll take myself off of this spotlight.
You have every reason to live.
Yeah. Don't off yourself.
So I before I get started, I see we have a couple more new members today. Mark Anthony, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? Can you guys hear me?
Very
Right?
good. Very good. And since you're new, did you want to tell us briefly about yourself?
Sure. So like I think a couple weeks ago, I became a sponsor of the website.
Yes. Thank you.
And I just hadn't been able to join just because I've been so busy, either just doing stuff or sleeping, because I work third shift. So I, saw the post that, today's, prompt is talking about stories where you've given typewriters to people.
Yes.
And I was like, I got a couple of those. I should try to join because I'm on my way to lunch right now. I'm not driving now, so I'm good.
Okay.
My fiance's driving that, so I'm like, well, I might as well see if I can jump on for a few minutes, and share a few stories. Because I have this one story. I used to work for a big retail company. I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's Academy Sports and Outdoors. And I was actually known for being the guy with typewriters, because every time we got a new employee there, I would always ask them, if they wanted a typewriter or if they knew anyone who had one. So it was kind of like the standard question you would be asked by me, because, I was known for typewriters. I had this one friend who she said she wanted a typewriter, because at first she said, she didn't have the space for it, but she was moving into a new apartment. And she's like, well, I like a typewriter, but I don't really have any money right now because I'm moving into a new apartment. And I was like, well, I'm not, because, we're friends. And I'm like, I'm not going to stop you from, being able to enjoy a typewriter just because you don't have the money for it right now. And, I know you're not going to just turn around and resell it or whatever. So I'm like, well, I'll just let you have a typewriter. And, I'm like, I'm not going to give you my, one of my best ones for free, of course. But I gave her I think it was the Smith Corona Classic 12.
Ah, very
I'm
good.
like, I'm like, here's this one. And I gave her some paper. I think it's the Southworth paper, I think it's called.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
I like using that paper. So I'm like, here's a typewriter and paper. And I had this other friend who was wanting one. And I gave her one. And that one was, I think it was the Remington Quiet Writer. And I missed it after I gave it to her. And I'm like, man, I kind of missed it because I really like the color, because it's like they're kind of like, I guess, olive color, I guess. I actually posted a picture of it in the typewriter collecting group. Like, what color actually is this, guys? And so I was like, man, I kind of missed it because it's got that nice, in my opinion, it's kind of got like that old military color to it. Kind of deal. So I'm like, man, so I went off and I actually went off and found another one and bought another one. I was like, man, I kind of missed that one. So I'm going to go ahead and buy another one. And, you know, 'cause I missed this. I was like, well, I'm not going to ask for it back. So I asked her, like, hey, do you want to trade typewriters? And then she was like, yeah, sure. But then I couldn't find one that I wanted to trade for. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go buy another one because why not? So, because right now, including some of the, you know, electric typewriters I have, I think, about 50 typewriters right now. And I'm actually hoping to get a Hermes 3000 from up by Kansas City for, because they wanted it for like they actually wanted it for, I found on Facebook Marketplace, and they were asking for $100 for it. And I'm like, man, why can't I turn down a price like that? So I went ahead and I messaged them and I'm like, hey, is this still available? And they're like, well, someone else is looking for it, looking at it. And I'm like, oh, are they giving you the $100? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, what if I gave you more than that? Would you be willing to bid it off? And she was like, yeah, sure. So I ended up, you know, we ended up agreeing on $150 for it. Because, you know, for the Hermes 3000, 150 is still a pretty cheap price, especially right by the big city. And so I said, well, I'm not going to be able to pick it up anytime soon because, you know, we were both busy. So I was like, would you be willing to hold on to it for me for 200? And she was like, yeah, I can hold on to it for 200. Which, like I said, even for the Hermes 3000, that's still a pretty cheap price for it now. So that is about me.
Very good. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. I just made it, so I'm probably gonna have to go in and eat now, which is never.
Well, enjoy your meal.
Well,
and thank you for joining us.
Good meeting you.
Have a good one. Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you too.
Have a good lunch.
Yes, sir.
And we have another new face, Sarah Jane. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very
good. I love your hair.
Thanks for letting me join the club.
Of course. Yeah. So tell us a little about yourself.
So I've always been really into typewriters. I've always really loved them. So I had just one for years and years, and then COVID happened, and I was stuck at home for 3 months, and it spun wildly out of control. So I've been doing a lot of art with my typewriters, and it's been really, really fun. I really enjoy it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Sarah, if you're looking to come here to get support for not buying more typewriters, this is not the
This is
place
not
to
the
come.
place. Yeah, I know. I just felt like this was a safe space to admit
Absolutely.
that I have a problem.
Yeah.
You bring your problems, we'll share them with you. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, I have to admit it's a bit of my fault. Sarah put a post up on her Instagram last night and said, I'm looking real hard to figure out, I'm having trouble finding this typewriter in the typewriter database. I said, well, there's this great group. If you go on there, the Reverend Monk is on this group and you can ask him face to face. So Reverend Monk is sitting right there ready to take your questions, Sarah.
Yay, yes. So I don't know what, and I said this on my Instagram, I don't know what my problem is with the typewriter database, but it's definitely user error. It's definitely me, but I have had a hard time figuring some things out. But so I got Blick number 5. And I really want to know when it's from, and I'm not sure. So I was looking at the serial number, but I don't honestly know how serial numbers work. So if you can help me with that. So it's 26556.
It's a number 7.
It's a 5.
A 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 996, you said?
26556.
Okay, that's outside of the range that we have. Unfortunately, we don't have much information on the Blicken servers.
Okay.
People are researching it. We just don't have any factory information for that. So that will be probably sometime around 1898, 1899.
Okay, that was going to be my guess, but just based on what is on there, so good. I'm glad that I didn't miss something, so it is not on there.
Sometimes it's a mystery, but we make pretty good guesses. Sometimes.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to put it back in its little box. It's the cutest thing ever. I love it
They
so
are.
much. Like I
Do you have-
can't handle it.
do you have extra type wheels for it?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
It has. I think the only thing that it's missing is that I can't move the carriage without pushing this thing in the back, and it doesn't really seem very user friendly. So I think, isn't there like a bar thing that goes like this?
Well,
Something
if I
like that?
recall, I don't know a whole lot about Blix, but that sounds. Do you have your carriage strap attached to the carriage motor? A little windy thing that. Let's see.
I'm not quite sure.
I can't remember if those things run off of a gear or off of a carriage motor, but I'm not seeing one.
Yeah. Sorry, this is probably really not very helpful.
Well, I'm also not really conversant with machines that old. I'm more of a mid-century guy, so.
Okay. My goal was to find a typewriter for every decade they've been around.
Okay,
Oh,
that's a good start.
Yeah. So this is exactly. I'm doing pretty well now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I'm sorry I don't have more information for you on that one, but
Thank you, though.
you might keep collecting and have more questions,
Yeah.
which I might be able to help with.
Awesome.
So
And
is
that's
that the one you're using for your typewriter art?
No, I haven't used this one yet because
okay.
I'm not sure how to put the ink on the roller. I don't know if it's as simple as just putting it on there or if there's something more to it. So I haven't used this one yet.
I do know
but
that it has
fun.
an ink pad.
Yeah.
It has an ink pad that it inks the type with.
Mhm.
Those can be, well, I mean, you can replace them, but it can be tough.
Yeah.
And you want to be careful with the ink because those type things are made of hard rubber.
Okay.
So you don't want to do anything that would degrade those.
Right.
So that much I do know.
Okay. I just have to do some research. When did it come in the mail? Just maybe 2 days ago. So
okay.
we're still getting to know one another.
Yeah.
All right.
No, so in my art, I think I've used all of them in my collection for at least one of them, because that's also, I'm like, well, I have to use all of them for at least one.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a couple of Remingtons, and I have an Underwood, and what else do I have in here? I have a Tippa that writes in cursive that I really love. Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you say how many typewriters you have?
I think I have, I think it's 8, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm adding one or missing one, but it's right around there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, tell us more about your art, if you would, Sarah.
Yeah, sure. Let me see. This is the latest one that I did.
Wow.
Oh, I
cool.
saw that on Instagram. Yeah. That's
Yeah. Thank you.
Good.
I really loved experimenting with the special characters and figuring out their texture and everything. I love using the percent signs for like organic things like hair. Yeah, and I've been really into using negative space. It's just been really, really fun. And it absolutely would not have happened if I didn't get stuck in my apartment for, months on end. So COVID,
Well, it led to something very good. So
yeah, exactly. And I did just get one of my pieces accepted into an exhibition that's starting, I think tomorrow, actually. So,
Oh, awesome.
So that's really
Congrats.
exciting. Thank you. That was really exciting. I wasn't expecting it, so it was a fun surprise.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And did you mention whereabouts you are?
I'm in Boston area.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Boston.
You're really close
Yeah.
to me. I'm in New Hampshire.
Oh, nice. We're neighbors.
Yeah.
That's so funny. On the East Coast, they can say that. Here on the West Coast, our nearest state is Arizona, and it takes 2 hours to get there, probably 4 hours with Southern California traffic. So, it's a bit of Monk. You and I are neighbors. We're only 6 hours apart, right?
Except you live in a different country.
Right.
Yeah, Boston's only like an hour from here.
States are.
Yeah. And
People's Republic of California.
What?
And I'm totally having a senior moment. Andy, have you been on before?
I have, if you can hear me.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm more of a hawker, I guess. I watch more than I participate sometimes. But yeah, it was the last time I was on. I think I demonstrated my folding tripod, military.
Oh, you have the Underwood.
Yeah. That was wonderful.
Yes. Yeah.
Watch it.
So, usually I don't show up unless there's something special to talk about. But I found a Royal P locally.
Ooh.
It's kind of exciting. Yeah. I guess the thing that stood out for me was maybe I'm doing this without shaking you guys up too much.
Oh, you got to be kidding! I love it when people find those locally. My God.
That's focus.
He only comes to Typewriter Club when he can make us really jealous.
I know. Huh? He's like, I got him this time.
Yeah, well, that was, I'm always hunting, obviously, like any good typewriter hunter, I guess. But for whatever reason, I was, you always look at the typeface, right, when you search for a typewriter, but this one, you couldn't see it, in his Craigslist ad. And so I was, okay, can you send me a photo? And that usually turns into nothing, right? So, but this person responded immediately. And of course, I jumped out of my chair when I saw what it was. And my wife was
I guess
like,
I might be interested in that. I'll come over, I guess, maybe.
And then I had the audacity. The price was like $100 and a quarter.
Wow.
And I had the audacity to ask for a discount, so I was like, okay, well, will you take 75 or whatever, so, because I figured, okay, if I got to this point where I've actually seen one of these locally, I'm going to just play my hand out, right? See how far I can take it, because if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. So anyway.
Wow.
So $85 later, I'm sitting on a 1930 Royal P Vogue. So I was like, okay, it doesn't happen very often.
and a red one.
Yeah,
and the nice red one.
Wow.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It definitely needs, needs some cleaning. I haven't touched it, and it's also missing the top cover for it. So I'm kind of on the lookout for that, or a new case, compatible case.
Yeah. Very good.
So I promised my wife, I said, I could sell this and cover my whole entire collection, for the cost. I'm always saying that. She goes, well, you never sell anything. So why are you telling me that?
I have the same problem. Oh, man.
It's like, yeah, but I could.
Yeah. It's like money in the bank.
Oh, I love that comment you left me yesterday, Gregory. It was like, I had those 5 typers that got delivered to me, and you said I could never sneak those into the house. And I think my response was, just lead a lonely life like I do. You'll never have these issues. But
yeah.
Oh,
that was a funny.
Good. Thanks for the chance to show this one off. It's been a while.
Definitely. That's fantastic.
Well, I was going to say earlier, we were alluding to the 12-step program regarding being habitual typewriter collectors. And of course, you're a habitual typewriter collector when it's not a 12-step program. It's an elite step program. It's 12. It's
12 character.
12 characters.
Ba-ding.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know how often, I've seen people always, really pining for this machine here, but I'm wondering how often, you look at the blog or whatever, and there's always someone posting, something like this, and you're just like, but how often does a collector come across, you have to collect 200, 300 typewriters in order to grab one of these, or just get lucky?
Yeah, you know, when I started out with typewriters, the Vogue was like that unicorn typewriter that seemed to be hard to find, and I think the consensus was there weren't a lot of them out there. But you know what? In the last 3 to 4 years now, I can say there are a ton of them out there. There was no, shortage of Vogues out there. I'm hearing stories every couple of weeks about people like yourself that find great typewriters locally and get lucky online or on Goodwill or places like that. So I don't think they're as rare as when I got into it, we sort of thought. But because now we're all getting together and we're all sharing these on Instagram and Facebook and all that. And there are absolutely a ton. Every week somebody's going, oh, I never knew, but look what I found. And it was a Vogue. And, that's cool. And even now I'm seeing more and more of the 40s, QDLs with Vogue as well. Rocky Mountain Typewriter down in Colorado there. He's got a couple of the pre-Dreyfus ones, 46, 47, and they're in Vogue. So Vogue did go past the P. I think it's great though. I mean, I want more Vogues. Don't get me wrong. I want them all, but
yeah, and I just picked up one of those last week myself, Andy. I was sharing earlier, but I think they are out there. It's my opinion. Please feel free to give me all your opinion. People just don't check typefaces very much, so you just don't know, and that tends to be the problem. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good point. And I feel it's everything, right? The typeface is everything. and to me, it's like,
yeah, maybe the average consumer is all about what color it is. Maybe not even how it functions.
Right.
For me, it's all about functions, and boy, that space bar better be right. If I'm tripping up on my thumb on that space bar, I'm not using that dang machine. So we're all different.
I guess for me, it's like having, the best or part of both worlds, right? Being able to have the machine and then, the typeface that makes it even more, exponentially more interesting. It's kind of like having an amphibious car, right? One that goes on water and then,
yeah, that's a good
Excellent. Diane, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Very good, very good. Yeah.
I saw the prompt for this week, but I haven't actually given away a typewriter, so I have no experience with that.
That's me too. I didn't write for this week either. For that same reason, I've never given one away.
What is the prompt? Oh, the prompt. I guess I got it now. Giving a typewriter away. Okay.
Yeah, I thought about it after the fact, and I should have added it. It was actually this morning I thought, oh, I should have added, if you haven't given away a typewriter, who would you give one to and what typewriter would it be? So that would kind of leave it open to, everyone, but.
Oh, that one I know I can answer.
Go for it.
I would love to get my niece a Tom Thumb because it would make me melt into a puddle. Yeah, it would be so precious.
How old is your niece?
Well, she's 1.5, so.
Okay.
But for later.
Yeah, start them early.
Yeah, if you, I don't know if like who has followed me on Instagram, but I do have a really cute picture of her playing with one of mine under close supervision. It was really cute. She's precious.
Oh, excellent.
I think there's a lot to that too, Gregory. I got to see the prompt last night. I thought this is great. And my problem is I appreciate it when other people share about me giving them machines versus me sharing about it. And it's always a hard take. I've been able to give away probably more than 15, less than 20. I don't know, but the answer is it's always time and place. And my biggest trick to all of it is I give it to them and I have to work very hard to make sure they understand that there's absolutely no reservation. This is your machine for you. Please use it. If you end up just wanting to use it as a doorstop, that's not my business. However, it'll do a lot more for you than that, right? So it's always a big give and take. Before I forget, excuse me, the air around here there's actually moisture in the air this morning. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Before I forget, David put out a new podcast, Austin Typewriter Inc., where I sat down and interviewed my Well, he's a friend and a business partner, Aaron. So if y'all get a chance.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been a minute since we've put out a podcast. So we really must to do that. I think it turned out real well too.
Very good. All right.
Okay, and may I interject just quickly here?
Yes.
I realize I didn't join right at the opening, but have we said good morning to Marvin?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. It's a face I don't recognize. Good morning, Marvin.
Yes, Marvin is in Indonesia.
Indonesia.
And he is involved with slide rulers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now that's what I call being nerdy.
And we love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Angela, I received your lovely long letter. Thank you ever so much.
You're welcome.
And I messaged you through TypePals. I hope you got that
I already
message.
got it, and I already sent an email.
Okay, good.
Yep.
And Natasha, have you been able to get anywhere with your Olympia B12?
I have not yet, because I got like 3 more typewriters since then. I got a 1927 Underwood 5 right here in front of me.
A big one.
Yeah, she's heavy.
Flex your muscles, Natasha. There you go.
I know, I got big arms. Yeah. But what's really cool is that I also got this, and I'll show you real quick. It's on my Instagram.
Oh.
Let's see this real quick. Yeah, I haven't really dug into that just yet. I started a new job this week, so too. But 1927 typist.
Oh wow.
And I got the winner for 1926. They didn't know who 1927 was going to be yet. And one person asked me, does it tell how many words per minute that they typed? And no, I've read all these and it does not. So yeah, and then it shows how big of a deal typewriters were here.
The town hall.
Everybody went in there. So
that is so awesome.
And that's my typewriter right there with her.
Wow, that's very cool to have.
So yeah.
Wow.
And I got a Remington Quiet Write, which is my second one, Quiet Writer. And then I got a finally got this. I'm not gonna pick it up. An LC Smith.
Oh.
The 1930s.
It must be a big LC Smith.
It is. It's heavy. Probably why it took so long getting here. But it finally got here.
Anyhow, do you remember me telling you that the B12 works quite well with a carbon film ribbon?
No, I didn't know that. I mean, what's in it now? I'm sure it's not cotton. I bet it's nylon.
It'll come with a nylon or cotton or maybe silk. But if you can get a hold of the carbon polythene film ribbon, it spaces the ribbon just nicely to actually make use of it. Mm-hmm. And I had wound a pair of Smith Corona reels with the carbon film, and on Monday evening, I unwound a roll of that had been used along the driveway. A 2 1/8 inch ribbon will hold 175 feet of that carbon film ribbon.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, Marvin, were you raising your hand?
I guess I was just testing.
Oh, you were testing it? Okay.
I had a question actually.
Yeah.
What do you think of electric typewriters? Do you appreciate those as much as manuals, or what is your general opinion on electrics?
Tell us, Joe.
Yes, well, I like Type Bar electrics, especially. I think they're a great hybrid between a manual and the electric power. They're very responsive. They're inexpensive, I think. They're underappreciated. Very fast response. Of course, they're not as flexible in terms of replaceable typefaces as a daisy wheel or an IBM Selectric, but I like those kind of typewriters actually. And then there's also the other category of in electronic typewriters is the thermal typewriters, and Gregory knows about that also.
Oh, yeah.
Some of us do, yeah. So thermal typewriters, daisy wheel, they're both electronic, and then you have electromechanical, which is the electric Type R and the IBM Selectric. They're all electromechanical, and I like them. I do. Especially the Type R electrics. The Selectrics are, they've been around a long time in the office environment. They're very well considered for that role, but they are maintenance intensive. If you use them too much, they break. If you don't use them enough, they break, or so they do require maintenance, but they're great machines though.
Very good. And I love electronics personally. William, were you going to say something?
Yes, as far as the Smith Corona Electric, I'm rather partial to the side-loading cartridge ones, because you can get the polythene film ribbon in correctable black, permanent black, blue, green, brown, and red. And you can switch a cartridge out in 5 seconds or less.
Yeah, yeah. That was one of the typewriters that I received, and it was just it was the typewriter with the most shipping damage. It was pretty tragic.
So William, I guess there's still new old stock available of those cartridges?
Yes, you can find them on eBay on local buy and sell now and then. There is one website called aroundtheoffice.com, which says that they're still selling new black nylon and green film ribbon.
Oh.
So I think someone who stepped up to the plate to manufacture new ones. They probably come from China, but whether they work or not, I don't know.
So Bill, those are the Coronamatics, right? With a side loading cartridge? Is that?
That's one of them, Coronet.
Oh, okay. Sort of those ugly brown ones with the sort of sloped front cover and the black and.
I have that ugly one.
Oh, don't get me wrong. When I say ugly, I don't mean I hate it. I got a lot of ugly typewriters that I think have to be careful.
If it has the small rectangular window in the back right corner of the ribbon cover, it is definitely side loading, because then you can see what color you have in there through the window.
Right. Okay.
My grandmother was a secretary, and because she worked for so long, when she retired, they let her bring her typewriter. So it was what's it called? International Business Machines Electromatic.
Okay. Wow.
She still uses it back in her home. So I use a manual, a Brothers Deluxe 750 TR.
Okay, yeah. That's very cool.
One of my friends has a Godrej that he actually had shipped over from India. And he likes that.
I see.
That's one hole in my collection. Sorry?
I see you have that that letterhead there.
It's funny that Marvin just mentioned that, because I just got this letterhead done.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, I think you told us about that.
Yeah, so it came as the International Time Recording Division, so I had my graphic designer just replace it with Electromatic Typewriters Division, so it was a little more appropriate. Mind you, I don't have an Electromatic or an IBM yet, but eventually. So I thought Marvin would like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been looking on Mr. Monk, the typewriter database. I've got an IBM Executive. I just got going. I replaced the Powerball in and tuned every key like it was a banjo. But I don't seem to, the typewriter database doesn't seem to have any information on the IBM Executives. Is that correct, or am I reading it wrong?
Well, let me check out. Let me find out.
Sarah too can play at this game.
Yeah. Let's see what we can do.
What do you have there, Diane?
Well, I think it's supposed to hold fountain pens or just pens. I'm
Ah.
not sure.
Yeah.
Bob, what model executive is it?
Oh, that's a good question. It
Diane,
doesn't have a model. It just says executive
Oh, yeah.
on it.
Can you get a picture of it?
That's very cool, Diane.
Yeah.
that's actually for flower arranging,
Oh,
but it works. I like your use.
She has a better use for it.
Yeah.
That's very
it would hold fountain penning samples too, I guess then.
It looks like it might.
yeah, that's what I had one fountain pen and one ballpoint there.
Very nice. Very cool.
Somebody mentioned something about slide rules earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I picked up some slide rules, and I actually picked up, and all I know is they're here. I picked up some like slide rule competition stuff.
Oh.
Meaning there was like a competition to see who could calculate whatever the fastest, I guess.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I had picked up a typewriter in this antique store in Texas when I was there on business, and they had a bunch of slide rules there. I mean, it was a lot. And I'm like, okay, well, I've never used one, but it's like, I'll pick up. It was relatively cheap, so I picked up a few of the things and brought them home. But right now, I could not tell you where they were. I was just looking for them. But oh well.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, and maybe we'll have to exchange letters with Marvin. He just joined our Type Pals directory last night, and he's big into slide rules. So, yeah.
I was looking for that directory and I didn't see it.
Across the top, you go to members. Well, you have to be logged in, and you go to members and then directory.
Oh, okay. Maybe I wasn't logged in.
Oh,
Okay.
also, if you look at on the front page, there's a featured member. Right below that, it says view directory.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
And if you're
seeing
looking
that,
at it
so-
from a mobile device, there's like a little tab at the top left that sometimes you have to press. It looks like, I think it's like a couple horizontal lines, and then I'll open up like the menu.
Yeah, I think they refer
You
to
can
that
find it
as
from there.
the hamburger menu.
menu versus the waffle menu.
Yeah, it looks like a little hamburger. I don't know.
Yeah.
One of my favorite arcade games was the Burger Time.
Oh, I love Burger Time. One of my
You
favorite
run
games.
across the different ingredients, and they fall down to the bottom, and you have to make 4 hamburgers. So that's what that
Yeah, I
menu
remember
reminds me
that.
of.
With Marvin talking about slide rules there, a math teacher told us that slide rules, a math teacher in school told us that slide rules do exist, but generally speaking, comprehensive and secondary schools don't bother with slide rules. You only start learning about slide rules once you get in your grammar schools and public schools. They said, if you fail the 11 plus, don't bother trying to learn a slide rule.
Oh.
That's the English system for you.
There you go. There you go.
Well, when I was in the Navy in the late 70s, well, in 76, I guess, 75 or whatever, I was in a school in the Navy where you had to use a slide rule for your tests. And you could use calculators for homework, but you couldn't use a calculator in the final test. You had to use a slide rule. So they actually taught slide rule a little bit.
Why was that? Did they have a reason for it, or just because you're told?
This was back when calculators were just coming out. I guess you had the programmable calculators that were just coming out, like by TI and HP, and they wanted you to have memorized the formulas and know how to solve them yourself. They didn't want you programming in a formula in a TI 55 or 56 that has the magnetic strip that you could program functions in. They didn't want you using that. So
yeah. Hey, Craig, have we said hi to you?
No, I just kind of slipped in.
Okay. Okay.
I kind of slipped in. I missed last week. Had a wedding we went to, but I watched some of it live, and then whatever I didn't see live, I watched on YouTube.
Very good. Very good. Excellent.
You were streaming Typewriter Club on your phone while you were at a wedding or something? Is that what you're saying?
No, no, I don't think. I think I would have gotten in trouble for that.
It's got to
I
be
think I'd have
secret,
gotten.
guys.
Yeah, I think I'd have gotten in trouble for that. No, I was watching before I had to get ready to go.
Okay. Oh, that's good. All right. Anything new in your world?
No, not really. Other than that,
Okay.
I've got some surgery. I have a bad knee on my right knee, and I'm having knee surgery a week from tomorrow.
Oh.
So that'll probably lay me up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if Brandy's still there, I don't see her on there. Congratulations, Brandy, if you're hearing me, on getting into the fountain pen thing.
Yeah, I know, huh?
So I was watching earlier too. So
very good, very good.
Just had some things I was doing and wasn't able to really sit down and get at it. But
excellent.
Yeah, that's no, not really. Other than that, that's about it.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, it's good to see you again.
Oh, it's good to be here.
All right, so we'll get back to the typing prompts because I know Ted also has one. All right, so it was the most fun I've had gifting a typewriter to someone else. So, and I've kind of told this before, but here you go. The most fun I've had gifting a typewriter to someone else started with a message from my sister. Briar Rose has asked me for a typewriter. I have plenty of typewriters, I replied. Let me pick out a couple for her to try. I selected the baby blue Brother Charger 11 Correction and the Sperry Rand Remington Streamliner in Aqua. Both are pretty basic typewriters with small footprints. On the agreed upon day, I took them over to my sister's house. Unbeknownst to me, she didn't tell my niece what I was bringing. Seeing a case in each hand, she asked, "What are those?" I replied, "What do you think they are? Suitcases?" "No," I answered, lifting the lids off. Her eyes were as big as saucers. "They're typewriters," I said, confirming her suspicions. The next words out of her mouth were as dramatic as her personality. "I think I unlocked the secrets of the world." Yeah, how she came up with that phrase, I have no idea, but it just
that is precious.
Yeah, and she's I don't say it in there, but she's 9 years old, and she already sent me a letter, and I replied, and yeah, so and she's learning it pretty quickly too. So, and my sister is no help because she doesn't know how to use typewriters, but but my sister's fairly younger than me, and so I don't know that she ever used. I know she never used manual typewriters, and probably had limited use of even electronic typewriters. So yeah. Anyway, there you go. Thank you. All right, Ted, are you ready?
I suppose I am.
Okay, go for it.
All right. The most fun I've had gifting a typewriter to someone else is for sure during the type-ins that our local typewriter fans would hold 2 or 3 times a year, especially the ones held at the local children's library. While there were kids at the ones held at the Type Bar, the ones held at the library were swarming with youngsters, and you had a better chance of discovering those kids who couldn't be pried off the machines even as we were wrapping up the event. That's when we'd pull out the machines that meant specially for evangelism. I usually took a machine or two, usually Brother JP1s, Underwood 378s or 318s, Smith Corona Galaxies or Silver Seiko Royals. Machines that wouldn't be much missed in our collections, were easy and cheap to find, Iron Man reliable against rough usage and sure to delight the new typist. As those kids begged their parents for a typewriter, we'd walk up and hand them one, to delighted squeals from the kid and baffled confusion by the parent. That was the purest gold. I've also handed free machines to anyone I've met who've expressed the slightest interest at all in owning one. And I've observed that in almost all these cases, if I ever see the machine out in the open again, at their houses again, I'd usually see it collecting dust on the shelf. Tom Hanks even laments about this aspect of his typewriter evangelism. And you'd think that if Tom Hanks gave you one of his machines, you'd bang on that thing every day just because you had the patron saint of the movement looking over your shoulder. This part of the ministry you do because the seed just may germinate someday later, and you have faith in the movement's power to inspire. I do admit it's much more difficult to indulge in that sort of libertine Johnny Appleseeding these days, as those good $5 JP1s and Galaxies are much fewer and more far between. And I'm just not intaking new machines the way I used to. Nowadays, I'd have to give up one of my keepers to evangelize, and I still might, but I'd have to take up my thrifting rounds again. A solid year of NCV avoidance has changed me to a love the ones you're with kind of guy, content and possessive of the machines in my corral. I'd have to find giveaway machines first and not get attached to them. Still, those were great years, and I treasure the smiles that we made happen in those halcyon years. But first, there's got to be thrifting and type-ins again. Here's hoping.
Very good. Thank you much. Thank you so much, Ted. Very cool. Very cool.
Those were the really good days when you could find lots of cheap machines you didn't mind giving away, and having type-ins at libraries where the little kids would come in, and when you'd see those little kids that you knew they were hooked because you just couldn't get them off the machines, and those ones we made sure they left with one.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. Anyone else?
I have a short piece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I had a 1953 Hermes rocket, the gift of an old friend, and that I had reconditioned by Bill Wall of Mesa Typewriter Exchange. It was an okay machine, but I found myself not using it much, especially during the last year of COVID lockdown when I wasn't going out much. And so I put it on the list of machines to consider getting rid of. And then I gained a pen pal, Javier of Rupa Valley, California, who was a middle schooler in age. He began sending me postcards and letters almost every week, sometimes several times a week. He had been home from school and was obviously a little bored, and he began hinting around that he was looking for a typewriter. And so one thing led to another. My wife mentioned that if I was getting rid of typewriters, that I should consider giving him one of mine. And so now that 1953 rocket resides in Rupa Valley, California. And Javier is actually busy now with school, luckily, but he has it, and I feel very good about it. And I was also thinking at the end of this piece, the other typewriters I've given away, I gave my electric coronet, Smith Corona coronet, to my brother, one of my brothers, the wide carriage SM9 to my wife's niece, and I picked up a brother activator last summer during the lockdown, and I fixed it up and gave it to my friend Kevin for his birthday. And I've probably given a few others away that I can't remember, but it is fun giving typewriters away and spreading the wealth.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you so much, Joe.
Yep.
Very cool. Anyone else? Oh, yes, William. Yes.
Yep. Seeing as I'm the one who suggested this prompt, I figured I might as well have a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, the most fun I've had gifting a typewriter to someone else. This story actually starts in the summer of 2013. Southern Alberta had just experienced the flood of the century, if not the flood of the millennium. 16 inches of rain had fallen on the east slopes of the Rocky Mountains in a relatively short time, and the rivers in the area couldn't handle the sheer volume of water. So the torrent of water simply took off across the land. A wall of water came barreling down from the mountains through Calgary and virtually wiped out the little town of High River. One family whose home was damaged beyond repair decided to relocate to an acreage just outside Staveley, which is where I live. That fall, a new customer asked if I would be willing to look at an older John Deere 111 lawn tractor. Having pulled wrench for the local John Deere dealer for 15 years, I said, of course. Paul had brought his 9-year-old daughter with him, as it was summer holidays. I told Paul it would take me about 10 or 15 minutes to run a full diagnostic on the engine to determine the exact cause of failure. While I was working through my standard diagnostic procedure, Paul's daughter Sarah happened to notice my 1963 Hermes rocket sitting on your office shelf and asked if she could have a look at it. I wound a fresh piece of paper into the machine, gave Sarah a quick lesson on how to type with the machine and how it was very different feel than a computer keyboard. Sarah was happily typing away while I finished her diagnostic on Paul's 111. The diagnosis was a worn intake valve and seat leaking compression back through the carburetor. Then I drafted up a repair estimate for the necessary work and to get the unit running again. Paul called Sarah away from Typewriter and they went home. Once the repair work was completed and the little chap was running again, Paul came back to collect his tractor and brought all 3 daughters with him, Sarah and her 2 younger sisters. Sarah immediately asked if the 3 of them could look at the Hermes rocket. I figured it would keep them occupied while I was sorting out the paperwork with Paul. It wasn't 5 minutes and 3 girls started squabbling about whose turn it was. Paul was just about to tell the girls off when I said I had an idea that would diffuse the situation, so how about we go into the house for a coffee? I put the coffee pot on and cleared one end of the dining room table. Once the table was clear, I set the Hermes rocket, a 4Y series Skywriter, and an orange Silver Reed SR100, one on each side of the table. Sat a girl in front of each typewriter. Then I poured Paul and myself a mug of coffee each, and we had a 45-minute long coffee break. That's what you call customer relations. Getting to know each other. Paul's story about his time in aviation ministries before he got married and settled down. When we finished, all 3 girls insisted on taking their type page home with them. After that, the girls looked for any excuse they could find to come over and use the typewriters. My wife and I even ended up babysitting the girls when the parents wanted to go out for the evening, and yes, they always wanted to type on the typewriters. In the meantime, a for sale ad was placed in our local Kijiji listing page for 1968 Oliver letter 32 for $25. I had heard people wax poetic about these machines, so I bought it. The machine itself was thick with dust and would barely move. Needless to say, it received my full cleanup, service, and tune-up. The machine was a perfect little smooth operating travel typewriter for someone who had smaller hands than me. I tried typing a few pages with the little unit, but the keys were just that little bit too close together, and the space bar simply too narrow for me. I put 2 and 2 together and figured the letter 32 would make a perfect fit for Sarah, who by now was 10. Come Christmas 2015, nothing seemed to work out, so we never got together during the festive season. Once January 2016 had rolled around, though, things had quietened down and we were invited over for Sunday evening dinner. I had typed a letter to Sarah, which she read out loud after supper, and you could just hear her getting more and more wound up as she read through the 2-page letter. By the end of the second page, Sarah was just about vibrating. Then I handed her the wrapped package. The shrieks of excitement that came from that girl once she realized what was in the package let me know I had made the right decision. Sarah could barely contain herself and couldn't wait to start typing. Oh, sorry. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, haven't finished yet. In order to keep things fair and on an even keel, I also gifted the other two girls with a travel typewriter. The middle girl got a mid-1970s Royal Silver Reed Sprite, and the youngest received an early 1980s Brother Charger 11. A few weeks later, Paul told me that all three girls' vocabulary and spelling had improved once their mum had incorporated typing into their homeschool curriculum. At 4-H Achievement Day later that summer, all the notes and series of play were typewritten. I have to say I chuckled with delight when I saw that. The family have now moved to British Columbia, as Paul found a job that actually met his skill set as a very specialized heavy equipment operator. Although I haven't heard from that family in a couple of years, I'm hoping the girls still treasure and use the typewriters from time to time.
Very
That's my
good.
story.
Thank you so much, William.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Okay. So let me
I'll
make.
be finished in a minute.
Okay.
Hey, Gregory.
Yes.
I know the purpose is to like type, but I didn't get to type, but I do have a very short story about this.
You are more than welcome to tell it.
Okay. So
Once upon
one
a
of the
time.
first typewriters I got was a Smith Corona Coronet Super 12 electric. And when I got it, I immediately thought of my mother, because my mother, first introduced me to typewriters with an IBM Selectric when I was in 3rd grade. And she was just, so helpful, letting me, do whatever I wanted to do on it. And that really just stuck with me and really kind of made me a writer in my own mind anyway. And one of the first things I typed on that Selectric was a story about the Kentucky Derby. I was really into horses. That was when girls were just very horse crazy. Immediately thought. And so anyway, I submitted that story to the PTA contest, and they immediately disqualified me and said that number one, I could not have written it, and number two, I couldn't have typed it. That my mother had to have done all of that for me. And my mom asked me, do you want me to fight for you? Because she knew that I did it all. And I said, no, I mean, just the fact that they have to disqualify me because they think it's too good. That's enough. I don't need their contest. And she totally supported me. So it was just a great experience around my first typewriter.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, when I got this Smith Corona, I kept thinking of her and thinking of her, and I'm like, this would be good. She's 77 years old now, and her hands, she has trouble with her hands, and so she has trouble writing. But I said, she used to be such an awesome typist for her whole career, and I bet this little typewriter, would be really good for her. So I took it out there to her house and set it up, and it was a great experience. Bonding again, over a typewriter.
Wow, that's wonderful.
That is
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. All right, looks like Karen's still working. So, so in the meantime, let me make myself big here. So, I believe May is over. So that means our May contest for the typing prompts has come to an end. Just as a reminder, everybody that participated will get a sticker. And we are about to have a drawing for a Type Pals keychain.
Oh, cool.
So it's a paracord keychain that I made, and then we have the little Type Pals logo there. So yeah,
That's cool.
So what do we have to draw?
well, you have to draw a typewriter, of course. No,
Got my pencil ready.
Ed, you have to draw flies.
And I know
I do that.
some fountain pens. All right, so let me share my screen here. All right. So can everyone see the wheel of names?
The wheel of names.
All right. So we have Bill Guthrie, Brian Good, Craig Provan, Curry Russell, Diane Mayer, Joe Van Cleve, Kelsey Pollard, Kara Cleary, Mae Travis, Natasha Rawls, Theodore Monk, and William Lester. So all of you participated last month, and I'm so thankful for that. It's wonderful to have that many people participating. I think it really adds something to our live streams to have content like that. So I'm 95% sure that I got everyone. So I was foolish, and as we were having these meetings, I was not jotting down the names. So I had to do a marathon watching 4 out of 5 of our live streams. Fortunately, YouTube has a feature where you can play things at double speed. So I did that, and then I skipped through parts that I knew wouldn't have the typing prompts. But it took half the day essentially. So I had my creative morning that I was talking about earlier, and then the afternoon and the rest of the day late into the night. I think I finished the last one at about 11:30. And so I'm pretty sure in all that viewing, I'm pretty sure I got everyone. If I have not listed everyone, I'll just automatically include that person in the next one with my deepest apologies, but I'm pretty sure I got everyone. So are we ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So good luck to everyone. And thank you again for participating.
Thank you for holding it.
Yes.
Oh, it's right on the line.
Oh, that was close. Oh, that was so close, Joe. But
I know.
That was awesome.
That was super close.
Yay.
Oh, very cool.
So Diane gets something for her cat to play with. Congrats.
Little angry toy.
A cat toy.
Very cool. Congratulations,
Well, thank
Diane.
you.
Thank you for participating. You will also get a sticker, and everyone else is also going to get a sticker, of course. And we are going to repeat it this month. So essentially, if you participate in any typing prompt within the month of June, you'll be entered. Everyone just gets entered once as long as they participate, and you get the sticker if you participate. And then the next prize may not be this exact thing, but it might be a little bit different. But it will have the little.
Make it.
Yeah, it will have the little Type Pals logo.
Cool.
Yeah. Very cool. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gregory.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you,
all
Gregory.
of the stickers are going to be going out this week, and don't expect like a lengthy letter or anything. I'll probably write a couple sentences on each letter because there's 12 to send out. So yeah.
Gregory, I kind of wish we'd spun my wheel instead.
That's a good one.
That's funny.
I tried.
You did. You get bonus points for that.
Did I tell you all how I won that printer? When was it? A month ago? I won this printer on a wheel similar to that, and it was through Instagram. And so, they posted it on Instagram. Anyways, I won. And I just have to pick up the printer in Temple, Texas. Temple, Texas, just north of Austin.
That seems pretty exciting.
It was great to win. Anyways, my good friend David is going up there to pick it up for me. David with Austin Typewriter Inc. And the place, Johnny's. Anyways, they're going to be guests on the show for us. And then they're going to give the printer to David, and David's going to be kind enough to ship it over to me because it's a really big black and white, printer. So that'll be fun. Anyways, I just thought I had never seen that electronic spinner before. That was very exciting.
We're high tech here.
Thank you so much for doing that for us, Gregory. That was really cool.
Of course.
Sorry if you were getting some weird facial expressions from me. I'm just starting to clean a typewriter, and I just took a toothbrush and went over the top row of 5 keys, and I got
gross.
Yuck.
Oh boy.
Ew. So satisfying though.
Oh yeah.
You have to understand this is what you're looking at. 1895 gunk.
Yeah, there we go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're carbon dating it, are you?
Yeah.
Well, there was this little tag that the previous owner had put on here. So sorry. And
let me zoom in on you here.
1895. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
on the other side, it says what he paid for it. It's like, okay.
Wow.
But I don't know when he bought it. But all I know is it's seriously gunked up, and the platen has retreated. I don't know what else you would call it whenever it does this.
Oh my goodness.
It's shrunk.
Wow.
It migrated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it did.
Wow.
Yeah, I think some people would cringe. Oh, you're gonna clean it? Well, you know what? It's in my collection, and darn it, I'm gonna do what I like with it.
As fun as nicotine is, it's nicer when you clean it and get rid of it.
Yeah, this is just beyond nasty, but unfortunately that's how these usually are. I have not actually seen a clean Smith Premier anything come my way. The one that I
just sent off.
like to type on with the directional keys, that was probably in similar shape.
If ever you do find a clean Smith Premier, it's being cleaned by someone else, and they usually ask a pretty penny for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I just sent off the platen in that Smith Corona Galaxy that I showed a few weeks ago, and I should be getting it back this week. So I'm looking forward to that.
Right.
And there's a little bit of rust on the inside of the body of that typewriter, and I haven't really tried getting rid of it just yet. I did try putting a little bit of vinegar on it with a Q-tip to see if any of it would come off, but I think I'm gonna have to take the actual body off, but I haven't figured out how to do that, and I don't know if it's worth it or if it's going to be like a really big pain in the butt.
Is the rust on the panels of the body, or is it on actual parts?
So it's like on the inside, and I don't think it's going to be you're going to be able to see it. Yeah, but it's like actually under the keyboard, like
I've
in the
had
bottom
that
here,
happen,
and then like by the keys too, like there's that little the part where like there's like all the slots. It's like a little plate, and there's some rust on that. But
yeah, to get the body
it doesn't
off,
affect the way it works.
to get the body off, you have to. That's the one that has the ribbon cover lid slides forward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little tricky. There's 2 screws that secures the lid to the articulating brackets, and you take those 2 off, and then if you loosen where those articulating brackets tie down into the chassis, but don't take them off, you can bend it enough to get the lid off without taking those brackets off. But the brackets are spring loaded, and if you take those off, it's a real fun job getting them back on.
Maybe I'll just leave it.
No, it's not that hard. It's just, you know, it's just a little fiddly. But
It's fiddly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
if you take the bottom
rust is
plate
really
off,
gonna.
will it give you access to the comb underneath the type bar? The bottom plate usually comes off with 2 or 3 screws. And it might give you access to them from underneath, or you could scrub them.
Yeah, you know, you might be right. I could try that.
Because if it's not
really
inside the main part underneath the ribbon cover, if it's just in the front, it probably had some kind of soft drink spilled on it at one time.
Yeah,
perhaps.
I mean, how likely is it to become a problem in the future? Like if I were to just leave it, because I mean, it doesn't really affect the way it works.
Yeah, if you've degreased it, or if you've cleaned it enough to where if there's any, like if it was a soft drink or something, if you've gotten rid of that residue, it might slowly continue to degrade, but probably not very much. And if the type bars aren't hanging up in the comb there, then it's probably okay for now. I mean, it depends on what level of restoration you really want to go to with it.
Well, I'd like for it to last a little while, because I mean,
yeah, it also depends on how humid of a climate you live in. Like I live in Albuquerque, so it's like, well, we don't worry about that as much.
Yeah, it can get pretty humid here.
Yeah, you might want to consider it.
Yeah. Okay. What should I put on it? I mean, I know people have talked about evaporust. I think Bill mentioned Rust Echo or something like that. I was gonna just try vinegar. I don't know how much success I'll have with that.
I've never really tried much de-rust compound. I don't know.
I've used vinegar. I've had great luck with vinegar. I wish I could show you. Goodness. With this machine,
vinegar. I don't know.
It was badly. I got stuff everywhere, guys. So it was badly rusted in the arm here. Still got some rust here and there, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up again. Sorry, guys. Okay. You see this? That was horridly rusted. But I took vinegar and a wire brush and brushed them down. I put vinegar in a bottle and sprayed it on there.
Yeah.
And then I had to go back and do it again. So yeah, it works. It's just
I think if you take the ribbon cover off and the body shell off, you might have access to remove the comb itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you remove the comb, you can take a wire brush on a drill and go after that rust pretty easily.
And where are those screws that you're talking about? Is it like
Yeah, those are the hinges.
You need to look at it from the front. You need to pull it forward and then look underneath the cover.
Yeah, pull the cover forward. Now look underneath from the front.
From the front.
Like inside the hood of the cover, and you'll see 2 screws, one on each side.
Oh, like
you take those off, and then the 2 spring-loaded brackets that articulates down on the sides of the machine, you just loosen those screws enough, and you can bend them enough to get that ribbon cover off without removing the spring-loaded brackets, and that'll make it a lot easier.
And then you just have to like take off.
Yeah,
take these screws off.
Right, and you may have to rack the carriage to one side and the other. Move your margins out all the way to the left and right, and then you can move the carriage back and forth to get the other screws.
I see those.
I have a thing too about burnt linseed oil, or boiled linseed oil. I put that on top of my rust when I'm done de-rusting it. I put it on there. What do you guys think about that? I haven't had a problem, but it does take a long time to dry. And it has protected it from re-rusting. You know what I mean? Like that's what I use for it, protecting after you de-rust it, I would suggest, but I don't know if anyone has something different.
As far as what to put on rust once you clean it off, that is, dare I say, that one application where WD-40 is useful. Put it on the Q-tip and rub it into the rust, and then it will form a protective barrier, which will inhibit.
WD-40?
Yes.
Okay, so I haven't tried that.
But do not spray that into the mechanism. You will
Yeah.
screw things up big time.
It has like a paraffin wax kind of a base.
Yeah.
And with light aromatic oils. And when the oils evaporate, it leaves a waxy film, which protects the metal from, like William says, but also gums up things if it's
Right.
if it's supposed to be moving.
But would you?
Sounds
but
like I have a
you
plan of
guys
attack.
used, boiled linseed oil as well, or has
I've
anyone
never
done
tried it. I've never tried it, but if it works for you, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, this young man restored a typewriter just for his bar. You know, he didn't use it. He just used it as as decoration. So he used it and it looked pretty darn good after he got done. So that was the first I'd heard of that. And I went ahead and did it myself, and hey, it's fine. It just takes a while to dry. Takes a few days.
And there's probably a lot of resources out there in the automobile restoration world, because I'm sure people deal with rusty parts in old cars.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was what Bill was recommending. I think Rustico for. I think he said he used it for like car maintenance or something, and he said that it removes the rust and it leaves behind a stable surface. But I wanted to avoid having to go out and buy like any chemicals or. And I mean, I don't know a whole lot about chemicals and what
I didn't either.
But I don't want to get into that if I don't have to.
Well, try the WD-40 thing. That sounds good. I'm going to do it next time.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do it because that's it may dry quicker. Who knows? I mean, that stuff just didn't dry very fast, but it worked.
And as I say, what I'd recommend is spraying some WD-40 into a small container, then dip your Q-tip on there, then paint it on with the Q-tip so you don't run any risk of the product splashing onto other parts.
Right.
Good idea.
Very good. Very good. And Christopher, go ahead.
Also, you could buy Ted Monk's Smith Corona service manual, and it'll tell you how to take it apart.
Yeah,
absolutely.
A little plug for Ted's typewriter repair Bibles.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Well, I appreciate the tips, guys.
You're welcome.
No problem,
man. Christopher, I'm drawing a blank. Have you been on before, or do I recognize your name from the comments?
You recognize my name from comments and joining. This is my first time on. Hi, everybody, especially Joe.
Hey,
nice to meet you.
Oh, hey there. How you doing?
Fine.
So, since you are new, you want to just tell us briefly about yourself?
Sure. I live in Salt Lake City. I have, I don't know, 10 typewriters, 30 fountain pens, 5 or 6 slide rules. And I admire that you guys can fix typewriters, but I do not envy it at all. It's nothing I want to get involved in at all. So that's not even a rabbit hole for me. So anyway, I really admire you guys that can do this.
Yeah. And what do you most like to use your typewriters for?
Letters, mostly letters, and writing short stories these days. A lot of that too. So, or some of that rather. So
nice, very nice.
Is this Christopher McKellar by any chance?
Yes.
Yes. We've conversed via letter several times.
We have indeed.
Yes.
And postcards and
yes,
such.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for providing the space.
Of course,
of course. Christopher, you were talking about not envying repairing typewriters. Bob Marshall and myself, we were mechanics before we got interested in typewriters, and so it's just for us, it's just a natural transition.
Nice. Well, I was a musician for a lot of years, and I loved to play them, but I never tried to repair them. So,
yep,
Bob did that too.
Yeah,
and Bill Guthrie, one of our members, is also a guitar player.
Yes.
Yeah, he is. There's got to be that great connection too that I've noticed. A lot of people who use typewriters, play guitar or music or some instrument. And right, so I had a shop for many years repairing musical instruments, and then I got into racing motorcycles. My neighbor's dog says hi, by the way. He's over there barking next to me. Racing motorcycles and building those, and then eventually typewriters. Typewriters are a little safer than motorcycles. I think William and I will both agree. But
yeah, you're not going to fall off a typewriter at 60 miles an hour.
Exactly. Exactly. There's a lot to that. We could probably write a whole book on it. But
you should.
Welcome, Christopher.
Thank you. Yeah, I played the classical guitar in college for a couple of years, but I was a viola player, so no frets.
Well, you got my vote on that whole movable C clef thing, so good for you.
I do have to say, I did actually a couple times. I sustained typewriter related injuries. The first, and I forget.
Besides hernias.
I know, right? I forget what I was trying to hold in place as I was doing a test type, and let me tell you, it whacked right on my thumb. That it hurt a surprising amount. It was quite alarming. Another time, and this was actually in one of our Typewriter Club lives, I lifted up a typewriter in its case, in its open case,
and your face.
It closed on my thumb.
Oh,
that hurt. And I tried to hide it, but I think someone, I forget who it was. I think it may have even been Ted that said, "Ooh, that looked like it hurt." Yeah. So,
yeah, I had a run in with a rocket. You know those chrome push buttons. It's two push buttons on the steel cover that opens it up.
Yeah.
And it was rusted. And as I pushed it in, it was like a vice grip. I mean, it just, and it wouldn't let go. It was like, I couldn't get my thumb out of there. It was jammed. So I was like screaming, finally worked it out of there. And it was a little blood.
Oh, Chinese finger trap.
I know.
I was like, there's no way you can, get hurt on this.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I got hurt by teeth behind it, behind the typewriter. You know, the part where it's where the tabs are.
Yeah.
I was working on one, and my finger got in there, and I didn't expect it, so I put my hand under there, and then when I pulled it out, it ripped my top. You know what I'm talking about, those little teeth that are down there that you can't see, especially in the
tabulator
oil
rack.
tin. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that tabulator rack, it got me. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Wow. And Marvin, did you want to say something?
Yes. Just wondering, a bit off topic. Have any of you tried refurbishing typewriter ink with stamp ink?
I haven't.
Yeah,
I've heard of that.
I have tried it, but generally stamp ink is water-based, and so it dries immediately.
Yeah.
You always want to have like an oil-based type of ink, or at least a carrier on the ribbon to hold the ink and to keep it wet or moist.
Yeah.
The other thing I have heard is what they call endorsement ink is a water and glycerin based. But glycerin is hygroscopic, so will tend to pull moisture out of the air and hold the moisture on the type slug, which may rust them. So if at all possible, always get one of those, always get an oil-based or a wax-based ink. I believe that the X-Stamper ink works because it's an oil non-drying base. And yes, you want the ink to dry fairly quickly once it soaks into the paper, but you don't want a water or an alcohol-based ink.
Yeah, it's in printing terms, we call that flash drying. Well, like an oil-based ink will flash dry when you put it on the paper, but when it's actually still in its raw form, it doesn't dry as fast. And so, like when it's in a carrier, like a ribbon, it'll stay wet.
Okay.
And hold the pigment.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that for us lay people, finding true typewriter ribbon ink is kind of a mystery. And there are probably people that know exactly what it is, but they're not telling.
I read an article. Oh, I read an article that you could use the stamp ink, but you had to use a spray silicone also. And that seemed to work okay. I couldn't find yellow ribbon anywhere, so I decided to just make my own. And yeah,
Did it work?
worked okay. Yeah, I think I might have put a little, I think I might have saturated it too much. But it worked okay. Yeah, it got the job done.
Yeah, as long as
I
you
have
have
to try
some
again
kind of,
though.
as long as you have some kind of oil-based carrier for the pigment, then and it doesn't dry, then you should be fine.
Another article which I've read, actually there are lots, tons of articles and videos even recommending that you spray WD-40 on typewriter ink. What would that produce? Would that still produce how would I say? I wouldn't say professional, but would it be at least acceptable to use?
I've saved
yeah.
quite a bit of them that way. I have, yeah.
Yeah, I've done experiments with WD-40 on old ribbons that are not really worn out; they're just dried up from age. And I've had ribbons that I've done that to 5-6 years ago that are still working fine.
Yep, I'll keep
That
them
is
in here.
such a good idea.
As we were saying earlier on, WD-40 is a mixture of aromatic oils and a wax base. So the oils will actually dissolve the ink, then evaporate and leave the ink in suspension in the wax, which then holds onto the ribbon and transfers to your paper as you type.
Exactly. It works really well.
It worked for me.
You just have to be sure and do it lightly, correct?
Yeah, you. I unroll it into a box, unroll the ribbon kind of loosely into a box, and then apply a light spray of WD-40, and then kind of let it dry a little bit, and then take a rag. And as I'm spooling the ribbon back onto the spool, I'm holding it in a rag to wipe off the excess WD-40.
Yeah.
And that works really well.
Yeah, the first time I tried it, I put way too much WD-40. It was like I was typing with WD-40.
Do you ever have a problem with that getting into the works anyway, whenever you're doing that with an old ribbon?
Nope, not at all, because I take the ribbon out of the machine and put it in a box. And
No, I mean,
do
once
it
you
all
put it
there.
back on the machine.
No, if you wiped it down pretty good, it's not gonna splatter anywhere or anything like that.
Huh. Maybe I should try that on
That would be a really excellent place to try. Yeah.
Although the easy route is just to buy some from Baco.
Yeah. Well, I mean, buying new ribbon is always the best solution. But like I had an old blue ribbon from the 70s that I had on a machine that I really wanted to.
I saw that, Marvin.
And it's if you got an old ribbon that you just want to rejuvenate, like I found old silk ribbons from Western Union that have purple ink in them, but they're from the 60s and they're dried up, so they've never been used, so they still have the ink embedded in the ribbon. You just got to loosen up that ink and give it a new carrier to print from, and yeah, it works great on that kind of thing.
Excellent.
Someone should rebrand WD-40 as typewriter restoration fluid.
No. Typewriter ribbon restoration fluid.
Yeah.
Well, it's good for the outside, isn't it? If you got crinkled paint.
If you got crinkled paint, it's a good polish.
Yeah.
Well, I'm making a little progress. Not sure you can see that top row.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
What are you cleaning it with, Diane? Did you say? And I wasn't listening.
I did not. I'm using this LA Awesome on a toothbrush.
Oh, awesome is amazing. Awesome is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome is awesome.
Awesome is
It is. Yeah.
Diane first showed that to me, and I get it at what is that, dollar store or whatever, Dollar General.
Yeah, Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree, yeah. I use that
And
now.
yeah, I got that. I got the idea, or I learned about that from the local repair shop. It's like, oh, okay, well, that sounds cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, it does a great job.
But of course, yeah, we're still getting massive amounts of gunk.
How many paper towels do you go through, Diane?
I don't count them. 'Cause I'm sure it would be a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's taken quite a bit just to get these clean to what you saw. That's why I only did the top row so you can see the difference. But I do this. I've had to do this on portables and standards, and a lot of them come that way. They just not this bad, but well, there probably are some that are this bad, but not in this house.
Very cool. Christopher, I want to ask you, do you have a favorite typewriter in your collection?
I do. I'm sorry to admit that I do have a favorite, but the one that I like the most is the Smith Corona Super.
Yeah.
That I like a lot. And I have one that I don't like at all. And the other ones are okay. I'm gonna go on vacation out of town for a while, and I'm gonna take a Skywriter. So I need always to get used to that because the touch is so different from the other machines that I use.
Yeah.
Then I have a couple of Type Bar Electrics, both of which I like. I'm the original owner of one, which I probably bought in 1974, something like that, 72.
Wow.
And the other one, former colleague gave to me because he likes computers better. So
what is your model of your original one that you have?
That's a good question. It's in kind of a funny place in my house, and I have to go over my camping equipment to get to it, but I need to go.
So are you going on a car trip or flying or something?
No, I have a trailer. I'm headed off.
Okay. Well, I found when I went on a long car trip, I took a Hermes Rocket because I thought I needed a small typewriter.
Yeah.
And it turns out that a medium-sized one would have been better because it performs better and doesn't take up any more room, really.
Yeah, exactly.
To speak of. So
well, I have an Olympia model, an SM7 that I have taken, and I think I commented to you in a letter.
Yes.
If you're in a campground and you're on a metal
picnic
table, it does nothing to dampen the sound.
No.
You're sort of telegraphing to the campground. Here I am typing.
Oh,
you got to bring a typewriter pad with you.
Exactly.
I have a question, Joe, real quick. Can you tell me an example of a medium-sized typewriter? I mean, because of course you got your standards, and then I got portable. It's like I don't know what's medium.
So I'm thinking my terminology is like portables. A portable essentially has a case with a handle, right? And they do vary in size. Like a Remington Quiet Writer is a pretty big portable, but it's still a portable. And what we've come to know is ultra portables are really lightweight portables, or the really small ones like the Rockets, and maybe the letter of 22 and 32, and the little Japanese Silver Seikos, and maybe the Brothers are also considered smaller portables. Then the medium-sized ones are like
little
Adler,
Tippa.
The Tippa is it's probably in the intermediate size. Yeah, that's probably a small portable, I'd say.
Okay.
Not quite as small as a Rocket, but I'd call that a small lightweight portable.
Okay.
Your bigger portables are going to be like your Royal Quiet Deluxes and your Smith Corona Silence and Silent Supers, and any of the Olympia SMs and the Hermes 3000s and things like that. They're still portables.
2000. Yeah.
Or 3000.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They're still portables, but they are a little bit bigger.
I think that the Undo 21 is just on the outer reaches of what you call a portable typewriter.
I had one of those. It does have a handle and a case. It's big.
It's luggable.
It's luggable. It's like the early luggable computers that had a CRT and 2 disk drives, those in a suitcase.
The winner of largest portable, I think, is the Studio 44. That is right on.
Yeah,
Right
that's
on-
the same
right
as
on.
the 21. Yeah, they are big.
Big.
Yeah.
You say that's an example of a medium portable because I have that, but
Yeah.
it is bigger than my others.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Any larger portable, larger than the really small ones, is really a medium portable. And there's a range of sizes and weights. You know, obviously they're not all exactly in these categories, but so the size and weights of portables in general kind of cross a spectrum, right, from the very smallest, lightest to up to the larger ones. But basically, anything with a handle and a case we consider a portable.
Right.
You know, and you could ask the question, is it weight or is it size, right? Because if you think of the Groma Calibri is one of the thinnest typewriters ever made, but it's a lot heavier than some of the other ones because it's a solid alloy casting instead of thin sheet metal.
Okay.
There's no
So-
ISO or Underwriters Laboratory standard to define large, medium, and smaller ultra portables. So it's
No,
whatever
but there
you
should have
want
been.
based
There
on-
should have
There
been,
should have
Sean.
been. Absolutely, absolutely.
Because
Because
I'm-
I agree that there's a whole different subset of series depending on what you like at the end of the day. Basically,
Yeah.
if it's got a handle, it's portable. But
Yeah,
there's a lot
that's
of
right.
range in that.
Right.
So I
Yeah. See,
agree.
I'm exact on a lot of stuff like that, so that's why I'm like, what? So yeah.
And if you can get somebody to carry it for you, it's porterable.
Like a Royal KMG.
Oh, look at that
Royal
case.
KMG.
Woo. The Fox.
It has a handle and a case, and the base. It actually has a base. But the base is it's not in pieces, but it's.
So-
There you go. It's port. Whoop! Stepped on my cat.
So that's the exception that makes the rule.
That is the cutest case. Is that little fox top there?
Oh well, there's another one for the Smith Premier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I
My
heard there was like
phone-
a handles for Royal Tens too, like this carrier for that. Someone mentioned last week, I think.
I've got a handle on
wouldn't dare.
my Oliver number 9, and that thing is a 8
Mm.
million pound typewriter. I would not
Yeah.
trust that handle at all. Like, ugh.
No. Wow.
I decided to figure out, I have an Oliver also, and I wanted to know how much it weighed. So I weighed myself and then picked it up and stood on the scale. And it's 30 pounds. It was so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Not surprised.
Yep.
That's pretty hefty.
So I'm guessing that you and the typewriter would have weighed about 140 pounds.
We don't talk about that kind of
We don't,
stuff.
we don't talk about how heavy our typewriters are, William.
Oh, but she's nice and slim. That's supposed to be a compliment there, Jane. Sarah Jane.
And I apologize. That was rude.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Mike, how are you?
I'm well. And you?
Very good. Very good. Did you go out running this morning?
I did. It's kind of cold and rainy today, so
Oh,
who
okay.
knows? Yeah,
So
give it 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. So no barefoot running?
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I always
I don't-
admire Mike's running diaries, his accounts of his mornings.
Very cool.
Yeah, the long ones are especially nice because then all the animals I run into gain personalities and we have long talks along the way.
Oh.
It's kind of an endorphin thing.
Yeah.
I've noticed the rabbits have stopped running away and they just kind of sidle up next to me and follow me for a bit now.
Oh.
They don't talk back, do they?
Sometimes if I step on them, they make a lot of noise, but other than that,
Yeah, I just stepped on my cat accidentally.
I bet it let you know too.
Oh yeah, you guys probably heard it in the background a minute ago.
I haven't checked in on One Type page lately, but I think you've been consistently posting on there, right, Mike?
I do. I try to do it every day. Now and then I kind of fall off the wagon. Oh, I do want to point out, I was going to say this earlier, but Joe, I read yours yesterday.
Yeah.
That was very touching. I really liked it. I printed it.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Well, I'm surprised that I wrote it that well, considering I had a a pretty intensive day at work.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you write better in a fog, right?
Yeah, sometimes, you know.
Hemingway used to say, "Write drunk and edit sober."
Hemingway.
Of course, I'm not sure when he was ever sober, but
yeah, I don't know.
He is now.
I hope so, or not. I mean, maybe you know.
That's true. Well preserved.
Well, it's always good seeing you, Mike.
Thank you.
Now, Kara, did you have your typing prompt?
Yeah. Also gotta show you my new shirt that I got.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I have that one.
Typewriters.
That's cool.
That's from Curry from the Willow Creek Typewriters.
Yes.
He's got some good ones.
Yeah.
Okay. This was, again, it was one of these I was typing while I was listening to people, so I don't have no idea what it really says. Okay, the most fun I've had gifting a typewriter. About a year and a half ago, I was cruising the Buy Nothing group page on Facebook, seeing what was on offer and what was in need. You got to be quick to get some of the cool stuff on that group, dedicated to giving away what we don't need and asking for what we do. Once I was making sushi for dinner and was out of wasabi, I got on Buy Nothing and asked if anyone had some I could have. Within 15 minutes, I was home again, wasabi in hand. It's like that. Big group of neighbors helping each other out, no requests too random or absurd. I saw a post from a neighbor, Jeanette, who I didn't know. She posted, "I know this is a long shot, but does anyone have a typewriter? My 9-year-old daughter wants one." Ha ha, long shot? Nope. "Oh yeah," I wrote. "I have typewriters. Bring her over." I scurried around trying to figure out what machines I could part with and which would be suitable for a 9-year-old girl. And I'll say in parenthetically here, I don't have pink or blue or, pretty ones. Mine are all sort of gray and brown and functional. I don't even remember now what other machines I got out. Maybe a Skywriter or something else. I think there was something that was some color. And the machine she ultimately chose, a 1956 Companion I had bought and carried home from the first Herman's I attended. It had great sentimental value, but it also had been serviced by Jessica Winkowski, and I knew it would not give her any trouble. That was one of my main goals, that it be functional, right? Jeanette arrived with all 4 of her kids in tow, releasing them into the typewriter wonderland I had set up in the dining room on the front porch. All the kids were enamored of the machines and ran around banging on them, which was a nightmare for me. And I shut the dogs in the bedroom and tried to protect the machines and educate Margaret, the 9-year-old, at the same time. I showed them how to be gentle but intentional, how to roll paper in, how to make an exclamation point, all the basics. I pointed to the Oliver up on a high shelf, thankfully, and they were all duly impressed by its odd action and intriguing shape. Margaret chose the Companion after very little deliberation. It was gray and pedestrian looking, but she recognized the clean action and sturdy functionality. I approved heartily. The family trooped off, cradling the precious machine, with me promising to send a copy of the user manual once I unearthed it. I heard later that there was a fair amount of envy and desire aroused by the possession of a typewriter, and I consulted with Jeanette more than once about ways to be fair, but I emphasized it's Margaret's machine and asked her to please respect that, and she did. I even offered the Skywriter to the brother, but they didn't want it. They wanted Margaret's typewriter. I got a letter from Margaret shortly after, which delighted my heart. And it took me a year and a half to get the manual to her. She lives like 4 blocks away. And I decided to send it to her, like mail it to her, much to my chagrin. But I hear she is still typing away and devoted to her machine. I wrote her a long letter to go with the manual, just to make sure she had all the information I wasn't sure I got across to her. A couple of days later, Jeanette posted a photo on Buy Nothing of her daughter reading the letter I sent while seated at her typewriter, a huge grin on her face.
Excellent. Thank you. Very good.
I got it. It's the funnest thing to give typewriters to kids, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's just something about it.
Very
And
much
I've
so,
only done
yeah.
it once, but what was that, Ted?
Very much so, yeah. I've done it to like dozens of kids, and
Yeah.
it's they just get this smile on their face, and their parents have this weird, bewildered look on their face. That,
Like, what are we getting into?
you can enjoy a little bit of both.
There needs to be like a kids. Well, I guess most kids aren't like that. I don't know if kids are on social media, but like kids with typewriters need to have some kind of gang that they can get together and share.
It could be a sub gang of type pals.
Yeah, type palsters, palettes. I also have given typewriters to people who didn't necessarily want them.
Done that. Been there.
Kirk Jackson has promised me he has a black Corona Speedline standard that it has been one of my bucket list machines forever, and he's decided that it's my machine and it's going to come to me, and it no matter what, he just wants to give it to me, which is amazing. But it's been like over a year and a half now, and I'm like, the other day I was like, so there was one on OfferUp. Should I just get that one? Are you actually sending this to me or what? But because I felt guilty about just taking that machine, I just started sending him all my orphan machines, ones that had funny problems that I wasn't in the mood to figure out and stuff. And the first one that I sent him was like a 1940s brown QDL. I can't remember what the issue was with it, but it wasn't a big deal issue. But it was too many little things, and I was just like, you know what? This is a cute machine. It'll be where he can fix it up easily and sell it and stuff. And he wrote to me and he's like, seriously? You sent me a QDL. You don't know how I feel. Do you not know? It was just a joke. And I was like, no, I thought it was a great little machine. Apparently he hates QDLs. So that was like the least fun I've had giving a typewriter to somebody. But then now he's come around since then. He's come around and he has a few of them and he's figuring out how to type on them.
Okay. Excellent. Now, Kirk Jackson, he's Nashville Typewriter, right?
Yes.
Indeed.
Nashville Typewriter, indeed.
And
Probably Tom Hanks visit.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I could not
those
believe
great
that.
pictures, those great photos of Tom in his shop.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Doing stuff. Yeah.
Amazing.
Right time, right place, right?
I was about to say he probably gave the Corona that you were looking for to Tom Hanks.
No, but he did sell him the Enterprise that I was coveting.
Oh, yeah. I thought you had one. You're getting it painted.
Yeah, I still don't have the panels back, and it's sort of just sitting here looking sad in its skeletal shape. I do have one, and I would rather have one that was whole rather than one I have to try and remember how to put together the things I accidentally undid on it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I will just once I get the panels, I'll show up at Typewriter Club, and you guys can walk.
There you go. We'll walk you through it.
You could spend the entire 3 hours of me going, is this the screw, you guys? Is it this screw?
I'm sorry, people. I'm going to have to go.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Marvin. It's wonderful
Hi,
having
Marvin.
you here. And I hope you come back again.
Yes, I
come
will,
back.
next week.
Yay.
Very good.
Thank you,
Very good.
Marvin, make it a rule to slide back here later.
Thank
you. Goodbye.
All right. Bye.
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 Bye, Marvin.
It's Sunday. I'm working on my joke. Sorry.
Yeah.
You'll be here all week.
Yeah.
Don't forget to tip your server.
Now, Sean, I was going to mention earlier, you were hefting a typewriter. It wasn't the SF that you were showing.
Yeah, when Joe was going through Ultra Portable, I just showed SF. So
Yeah.
I try to be like a Vanna White when Joe's talking. You know, if I can.
but
He's the Vanna White to my whatever the guy's name is.
You're Alex.
Yeah.
Say Alex. Say Jack.
Pat Sajak. Yeah.
But before that, I believe you were hefting a different typewriter. It looked like an Olympia Traveler Deluxe.
No, I don't actually have an Olympia Traveler.
Oh, okay. I must have been dreaming then.
I had a Remington Office Writer and a Royal earlier. I end up swapping, I finding lately about 4 or 5 typewriters during the course of Pipe Pals because as people talk about typewriters, I like to go and bring them out so I can feel
You're like,
what
"Oh,
they're
yeah."
thinking and doing at the time.
Yeah.
So does your Olympia, Sean, is it fairly heavy like the earlier SFs are?
It does feel a lot heavier than like a Skywriter.
Right. So that's
or
one
an
of those
adult.
things where
like it's got a lot of meat in it.
Yeah, that's one of the things where when you're talking about, is it like a lightweight portable or an ultra portable, size wise, it might be, but it's heavier, right? It's more solid.
Right.
And is it the size of it that makes it more portable, or is it being lightweight that makes it more convenient to carry? And that's always an interesting question.
Yeah. And
if you put it in a suitcase or a backpack or carry it by its case with a handle, it's more like the weight. It may be more the concern than the size.
Yeah. And it's funny, it wasn't until you started talking about weight that I went, oh, I guess you could look at it that way, because my scale of ultra to medium to heavy or large portable was based on physical size that it takes up versus weight. But you're absolutely right. If you consider the Olympia SF, it's not ultra portable because it's heavier. But I haven't been personally using weight as it's just more, is it easier to pack and carry and take around? Yeah, it's a little heavier, but it's smaller profile. So that's how I've been managing it. But you're absolutely right. That's another way of looking at it.
Of course, I guess I could get really crazy and say, I'll just take my Royal KMM on vacation. It'll fit in the back seat just fine. Put a seat belt around it and a shoulder belt.
And like you said, you've got your wife to carry it. So really it's.
Oh, that's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a portable, right?
Portable. Yeah. Exactly. It's portable.
That's the one you made the case for, right?
It is. Yes.
Yeah,
that's right.
Okay.
I have the case for that too, that she can carry.
Yeah.
And when you finish taking the typewriter up to the hotel, can you get our luggage, please?
Oh. Watch out, Joe. She's right behind you with a big knife.
No.
Hey, Joe?
Yes.
The reason I'm not taking this Smith Corona Super with me on the trip is I'm sending it in to get re-rubbered.
Oh, very good.
So
that's good. That'll be waiting for you when you get back, right?
That's what I'm thinking. Exactly.
Yeah. Nice. That's a great thing to do.
Yeah. I realized that this had not shrunk; it had moved.
Oh, just nail it down.
Well, I would ideally replace it anyway because it's. If it can do that, it needs it.
That should be cheaper for them to do then, because they're not going to have to cut it off.
I know, just slide it off.
I sent a couple like that to them, and I got them back, and they're just fine.
Yeah.
My daughter wants to say something, you guys. It's my daughter Margot.
Hey, Margot. Hi, how are you?
You got too many typewriters.
Margot.
Define too many.
Every time she comes in, there's another one too many.
That's a universal opinion of daughters.
You've got to get Margot to actually do an accurate count.
She doesn't mind banging on my Sears one though.
Get her own typewriter, and then she kind of backs off.
You can do that Sears one. I don't really like that one. It's too small. But yeah, she you bang around on that Sears one all the time.
Yeah. I almost broke it, I think.
Almost, but I fixed it.
So one of the truths about typewriter collecting is we tend to lie to ourselves about how many we have, or we just choose not to count. So maybe Margot needs to actually just audit Natasha's typewriters and then report back to Club here. So
you can do that.
What's the real number?
I don't even know anymore. So that's one of my things to do today.
Rounding down the numbers tends to help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've only got 20
probably.
And then do you even count the thermal typewriters? They're so small, right?
No. Yeah.
Those are electronics.
You don't count the ones that haven't arrived yet, and you don't count the ones that you're going to give away sometime, and you don't count the ones that are in pieces.
I don't count the ones that are over in the shop waiting for them to get out from under their pile.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Emily, how are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm laughing to myself because my kids are the same way with me. They're like, "So, Mom, how many typewriters do you have?" Don't ask me that. Don't ask me that.
Don't ask me.
Oh, that's funny.
And that's what I tell everybody. It's not your business nor mine how many typewriters I have.
Wait, Bob, didn't you just get like buckets of typewriters?
Yeah, over 60.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I spent all yesterday cataloging machines and getting them put in proper places, and I'm glad I did. And that was that score from North Carolina. That was kind of fun, though. I don't mean to
Any
be
special machines, Bob?
yeah. Actually, I need to email you later or send a few to you later, Joe. See what you're interested in. Might be one or two I looked at, and I thought, boy, the other day when I had dinner with Joe, he mentioned this. I need to. So we'll see. But I mentioned earlier, right now, the local Riverside Art Museum reached out to me to do a typewriter exhibit. So
cool.
I'm gonna have a few there on display, and that's been a lot of fun. I'm really glad I've invested in all the lower range typewriters. I don't mind people demoing, if you will. I've got a ton of quiet writers. I've got just a few other Smith Coronas, whatever stuff I know that's somewhat unbreakable. So there's going to be the idea right now is like a demo table and then a display cabinet as well, typewriters. And obviously most of it will be the descriptions that are written about the machine. So that's exciting. I will tell you too, I took a business meeting, I think it was Friday afternoon, with a gentleman who represents the Historic Society here in Southern California. And he specifically does wartime stuff. So he's got it on the docket to do a living war reenactment of women typing and transferring messages. His thought was, Morse code to type. I said, well, that's great. And then there's also microfiche and, letters to the home front. That was a big thing, of course. So he's very excited. Bottom line is, it looks like he's going to either rent and or purchase several number 5s from me.
Wow.
Maybe you guys can assist me. All the photo documentation, it looks like they had a bunch of number 5s there, right? Yeah,
Wow.
World War II. They took a bunch of number 5s over to wherever they were.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I don't know. Those are the photos I've seen. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to be instructing these, they're living reenactment actors. They love to reenact. They love to, you ask them a question, they pretend as if they're there, so I'm going to be instructing them on how to type. So it looks like Bob's how to use a typewriter, how to type school is about to open. So that's the fun of it all. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. I think if anyone can really mess someone up in teaching them how to use a typewriter, it'll be me. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, maybe there's a market for teaching people how to type on a manual typewriter, like a typing school.
Yeah, I think a good afternoon and a little bit of follow-up, they'll be fine. They just have to practice a lot, like anything else. If you just rehearse at it quite a bit, you're going to do okay, right? So
yeah, just teach people how to act like they know how to type.
Well, that's it. So
1927, let me know.
There you go.
So these actors already know Morse code. So they're currently learning Morse code. Now they're going to learn typewriter to go Morse code to typewriter.
Mm-hmm.
Carbon copy, I would suspect. I mean, they're in a government building, so copies will be important. So I'm looking at the few number 5s that I have around, thinking, well, can I sell these? Can I rent these? Can I, what can I do with them? So that'll be fun. But first, the museum. So I'm very excited to have been asked to do this. I think it'll be great representation for Riverside. I'm looking really hard to get some other machines. Lucky for me, being here in Southern California, there's a lot of machines with provenance around me. So I'm excited to see if one of those can be arranged, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Hey Bob, what about your covers? Have you gotten those? I've been checking your
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too.
Yeah, I've been checking your shop. I haven't seen
I just got them in yesterday, which was funny. I literally picked up a box off the porch and went, I don't remember leaving a typewriter here. Like, what is this? And it said typewriter on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I opened it thinking it's a typewriter. and it's several hundred of the cover. So yes,
Okay.
I need to stencil them and get that going. Again, these are the color ones, every color but purple, of
I
course.
know. Feelings hurt.
Yeah, and they should have the black ones by the middle of this month. I've already got an order in for a few hundred of those. Thank you so
Black
much
and red.
for asking.
Yeah,
I
that'll
hope to
work.
get that up
Black
in the
and
next few days.
That'll work still. I need at least two.
I really appreciate all you, and again, the big problem was getting them. I know, like Kerr, you already have several. Imagine if I sold you a towel that didn't match the ones that you have. Like that would
I
not
know, right?
right. So that's
I
been,
want matching.
that's been the big conflict. Do you see yourself maybe ordering some other colors once I get them up? I mean, would you mix
It
them?
depends. I don't know. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm not that colorful. I'm I like the black and white ones, but it depends. Maybe.
Yeah.
And there's one, like, I want to get some for friends, so I might get different colors for other people.
Yeah, and it's all give and take. We never know what people are into. Are they interested in covering their machines in a similar color of cover? Are they,
Right.
Who knows? Maybe it's something in their house. Who knows? So
Or you could color code, like all the Royals would be one color, all the Smith Cornells could be a different color.
that's a good idea. Yeah, Monk and I were having a conversation about that a week ago. How do you code out all these machines? So it'll be very exciting to see how it works out. I'm just glad that it's a great product that people love. I wish I had a better supplier for it. I wish the U.S. hadn't have gone through COVID. That's what it comes to.
Yeah.
The supply.
Do they fit Olympia SG1s?
Oh yeah, they fit my SG1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but mine's mine's an early 60s with the injector. It's back there on the demo. I've got it on the rack of demo. I want to put my SG1 out for people to demo. It's one of my favorite machines. I think it will do real well with a bunch of Riverside people in a museum typing on it. That's a wonderful thing about this museum charges to get in. So I suspect there aren't going to be people killing the machine. So I really don't have to be. So I'm very confident that the machines won't die. We'll see. I could be completely wrong, but
maybe you should leave the plastic paper support off the SG1 just in case the risk of it getting broken.
That's a good idea. I never thought about that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah, because I've got a Royal Saber right now. It's a wonderful machine, but it doesn't have the plastic card guide, and that's really caused an issue. So no, you're absolutely right. That's a really good idea. They'll just have to tie paper on it, not card.
Maybe get somebody to 3D print you one out of opaque plastic instead of clear. And maybe that could be a product. You could sell SG1 paper supports.
Well, and I took a coat hanger and kind of made a paper support that works pretty well in holding it down. It types wonderfully, but there's obviously a coat hanger across the front of the machine on the plastic. It's really. So then I thought, well, maybe I could use a coat hanger and just make a nice card holder. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a Royal Saber too. Like, what do you do? It's only $150 worth of machine. So maybe I just type on it a lot. I don't know. Maybe as a shop machine. Who knows, right? So it's definitely a catch-22. Yeah. No, those.
There's
a
lot of those without ribbon covers, though. You could probably find one of those pretty cheap and get the support off of it.
Oh, without that big plate on top. Yeah. And I got another one in that purchase. I got one just to see. And the card guide looks pretty good, but maybe that machine will do wonderfully. And then I've got, who knows, right? I don't like the idea of parts machines. I've never liked that idea. But then you end up with, things that don't look, you end up with feet for, these are the feet I made for this baby this morning. And you can tell they're a little tall, right? Maybe they're an 1/8 of an inch taller, but I cut them out of an old sandal or a new sandal that I got at the 99-cent store. So we'll see if this even works. But yeah, I made square feet out of a sandal.
Sandals are for feet.
Right.
That's true.
Typewriters are people, doesn't matter.
Right. So, whatever. I'm having a lot of fun with that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the term parts machine, but
Yeah.
I think most machines you can get going, and even the smaller parts that break, I've learned to work around or making my little machine shop behind me, whatever. So, well, we'll see what the future holds in that regard. I know there's a lot of different good theories on it, but yeah, thank you very much for asking about the covers. Yeah,
What about you said something about a 5? Which 5 are we talking about? The Underwood 5 when you were talking about 5.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I got. I just got that one. Yeah, crazy about it. Very snippy.
Yeah, they're they were. I've seen pictures of them. I think they were in Germany, but it was after the war. They were just throwing them in the ocean because they just had too many of them and didn't want to pay to ship it back. So
I wish I knew them back then.
The war will do that. We sent all sorts of stuff over there and did not want to pay to ship it back, so we just disposed of it. Or
right.
It's like shipping containers.
I wonder if anybody knows where they were dumped. If anybody's ever tried diving, I'm sure they'd be wrecked by now. But do you guys know the story of the Dove's typeface? You can look it up, but basically this typeface that was really elegant, that was developed for printing the Dove's Bible, and these two guys in partnership, and they got in a fight eventually, and they were trying to separate out their business, and one of them just took all the type and took it and dumped it in the river.
Oh my Lord.
And every so often they have actually found pieces of some of the type, and there's a font that you can get, computer font that you can get, that's resurrected from what they had found and what they could get from the Bible and stuff. But
I did get to read Mr. Penundrum's 24-hour bookstore a few years ago, and that's all about typeface. Yeah, Mr. Penundrum's
24-hour bookstore.
Yeah, if you get a chance, that's a really good book. It really, and it's all about typeface, so you can nerd out on it all you want. I did. Yeah, it's a really Mr. Penundrum's 24-hour bookstore.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, I forget the guy I forget the guy who wrote it, but it'll pop right up. It's a pretty popular book.
Someone accused me of being a nerd last week. Bob.
Accused or complimented?
Well, I don't know. It depends, Bob.
Welcome to the nerd club. Deal with it. I love nerd.
Sean, is that a Blackwing? What are you?
Yeah, I was trying my Blackwing out. It's got flowers on it too.
Flowers.
You must be a subscriber.
No, I just found it at this shop, and every time they come out with a new one, I buy it. Like, I'm more of a fountain pen guy, but I've been finding a real secret love for pencils lately.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
I'm so to the black ones like crazy.
I've got crates of them.
Oh yeah, I gotta find too many pencils now.
Someday we'll have to have a pencil conversation.
Oh yeah, well we can do it here.
There's actually a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah,
Analog something. He kind of specializes in talking about pencils. Actually, I'm drawing a blank on the channel name, but
I think I know which one you're talking about. Wood and something.
No, it's Analog.
Yeah, I've seen that too, I think.
There's a new movie all about pencils.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix, maybe Prime. I don't know, one of those. I was at a friend's house and saw it, so I watched it. It was, boy, you think we're nerdy with typewriters. These pencil people, they're very passionate.
California pencil?
Morning, Tom Hanks.
I think it's called
Pennsylvania pencil.
Pennsylvania. Well, pencils are funny. It all goes back to NASA spending millions of dollars trying to come up with an ink that'll work in space, and in the
pencil would work.
Really pencil.
Pencil doesn't rely on gravity.
Yep.
I want to know where all the crayon people are.
Crayon?
Crayons?
Yeah, I want to know where all the crayon people are.
They're around.
Artisanal crayons is what we need.
Yes.
There you go.
I bet they're a colorful bunch.
You know, my friend Ethan Moses is gotten into pencils and pens, and he really took a deep dive into mechanical pencils. And that's a whole other subject. You know, there's the clutch pencils and the different size leads and all that. So
there's a Facebook group for that as well.
Yeah.
Erasable erasable something or other.
Podcast.
Yeah,
Erasable?
podcast, I think.
Oh, okay. Excellent. So, Emily, is there anything new in your world?
Yeah, I had a new, let's see, a first ever typewriter experience. I got a rebate on a typewriter.
A rebate?
A rebate.
They still do rebates for them?
Yeah, I found $2 on the sidewalk while I was leaving the estate sale that I bought the typewriter.
That's funny.
I've heard of people finding money in typewriters before.
And rat's nests and.
Wish I could find some money in one of these.
Didn't somebody find a gun inside of one?
Ooh, boy.
I feel like I've heard that story too.
Yeah.
I wish I knew somebody who would go out to Bodie and tell me what the serial number is on that Smith Premier 1 that's sitting out there. And to all you California people.
Oh, Bodie, the old gold mining town.
Yeah. There's a Smith Premier 1 typewriter sitting out there in the dust.
Oh, boy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got the mechanical calculator. Wait, is it from Bodie? No, you know what? I was just in Bodie a year and a half, 2 years ago. I saw that. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of. I've got one from another mining camp. But it's an electric merchant, Smith Corona merchant adding machine. Right. I've got that.
I'm just curious what the serial number is. We should find out what it is so we can post it as a citing on the typewriter database.
There you go. Next time, I visit there every few years. I'll go by there. So next time I'm there, I'll take a look at it.
Can you hit up this week?
Where is it in Bodie?
I don't know. It's just in one of the buildings.
Yeah, there's
So,
like a club
you want me to
building.
drive 7 hours to go look at all the buildings in Bodie to see if I can find a
That sounds like a good day, good fun on a day on the road.
It would be.
We'll wait. We can just keep
I'll be
this
right
rolling.
Yeah,
For you guys, it's a road trip. For me, it's getting on a plane and then some driving and not happening.
You can still drive.
Yeah, but I'd have to get on a plane first.
No, you can drive all the way.
Come on, road trip.
We drove all the way from Memphis to California. Yeah.
There you go. See?
We drove all the way from Memphis to LA.
Nice.
Wow.
That'd be a good one.
I was away when the topic of the mechanical pencils came up.
We weren't talking about mechanical ones, though, were we? We were just talking about the
pencils in general.
Yeah, but
everybody show your. Oh, I see. There
how
were
would you
mechanical
describe
ones
the
involved.
difference in lead hardness?
Now you're getting down to it.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like in England, HB was the standard pencil. Then for artwork, you'd use 1B, 2B, 3B, 4B. And for drafting work, you'd use 1H, 2H, 3H, and 4H. And the higher the H, the harder the lead, the higher the B, the softer.
Yep.
Yeah, this mechanical pencil has a little turdy thing that allows you to switch what, like it says 2B or 4H, 2H.
Or not to be.
And so
either or.
Spike Milligan came up with a little poem many years ago. Said, Hamlet to Ophelia, I'll draw a sketch of thee. What kind of pencil shall I use? 2B or not 2B?
Yeah. So, Ted, can you show us the little dial there? That just signifies what lead you have loaded, right?
Yeah, you can turn it to show which lead you have loaded.
Is that a
inside of
Rotring?
it. This is a Koh-i-Noor Rapidomatic.
Koh-i-Noor, yes.
Nice.
I don't think
I
it'll
have a set of
focus.
those.
0.5 millimeter.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a thin one.
That's
Yeah,
my favorite
would,
one.
I would break that. I'm heavy-handed.
Yeah, the HB seems to be the common hardness in those 0.5 and 0.7 leads.
Mm-hmm. Then I also have my favorite ballpoint. It's a Parker Jotter.
Parker.
Stainless steel.
Yes.
You can use it in the zombie apocalypse.
Now they have what are called tactical pens. Which
that was the original tactical pen.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Tactical jotting.
Let's see.
I've actually gotten into. Well, I say gotten into. I have one, a lead holder. I'm trying to think what weight of lead it holds, but it's like super thick.
Yeah.
I want to say it's at least 2.5.
Yeah.
So it's like super thick. It's a Kaweco. So
yeah, I have a drafting set from when I was in high school in the early 70s, and I still have some of the tubes of different hardnesses of leads for those clutch holders. And you have to have I have the little sharpener, the little round one that you put it in, and it has a conical shaped sandpaper thing, and it points them. And then you have a little sanding board that you can sand like a bevel chisel tip on it for certain kinds of, line effects back in the old days when people drafted by hand.
Yeah. Excellent.
I've got so when I got into the Parker mechanical pencils, which are clutch pencils, 1928, 29. Then they have really big, really big leads, and I had to end up freaking going out and buying leads. It wasn't just like, oh, go buy point whatevers.
Yeah.
So they came in beautiful wood crates, little wood crates with the lead in there. Yeah, I mean, just finding these is great. So like that's HB.
Yeah.
Then the other one is, what is that? Number 2B, or not to be. Anyway, yeah, the whole different, like, I love the mechanism. Like, this is a clutch pencil, I'm pretty sure. Just sounds like it, but yeah, I mean, very simple, like no reserve. Once your lead's out, you got to stick another one in, and eraser in the top. What's left of it?
A smudger.
A smudger, yeah, that's all it's good for now. It's like 80, 90 years old. So anyway, yeah, just so much cool stuff in the world.
I know.
Yeah, I remember when I was young, that's how the leads came in those wooden trays. I guess I'm older than I look.
You only look like you're 25.
I am, actually.
Yeah,
several times over.
Yeah.
Running keeps you young.
That's what it is. Running from pencils.
Yeah.
Excellent. Did anyone else have a typing prompt? I think we've had 3 people read other than me. Hopefully that sounds correct. I may have to go back and watch this because I'm entirely capable of spacing out. So I've been trying to jot them down. So I think I've been successful, but
you're actually pretty good at it.
Spacing
You're really
out.
good at it.
Spacing out.
Yes.
Excellent. I space out when my wife talks to me all the time. So
there you go. Lots of practice.
Yeah. She's like, I just told you that. And I'm like, oh.
Just a quick question for Emily. Did my letter get to you?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
It's on.
Oh, now you gave it up, William. She knows
Cool.
it's coming now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just put my letter in the mail to you the other day, William. So that should be getting there probably within a week or so.
Okay.
On that note, I got to go, guys. So I'll see you next week.
Oh, good seeing you. As we always
Nice see you, Eric.
See you.
Bye, Eric.
Bye, Eric.
Joe, you should be getting something from me pretty soon.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to it. Fantastic.
I was kind of wondering if I already sent you something, but I can't remember. So
I have one of my tiny little neat notebook, pocket notebooks, and I keep track of everything I mail and the date, so I can did I send this person something? I go through my little notebook. Oh yeah, I guess
I do the same thing.
Well,
All
I couldn't find
color-coded.
what I was looking for, so I assumed I did.
I'll be looking forward to it.
I'm making progress.
Good.
That's good. Let me zoom in here.
Let's see.
Ooh, now she's got
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
white keys.
Wow.
Oh, they're white. They're not nicotine.
That's
You are making
incredible.
progress.
Wow.
Impressive.
You're having a productive session here.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, this, I've never actually used the Model 2, which is probably one of the most common models they ever made. The one I use the most is the 4. I need some feet for the 6, really, because I found that it doesn't want to move properly, and I think that's really what it needs is some feet. And I'm going to try and measure some stuff so I can see if maybe McMaster Carr has something that will fit it or can be made for it. We'll see. I know Ted put out his how to make feet video, but well, everything I have as a template for these things has shrunk. It's if I can get it out in one piece, I'm doing good, which is of course is the problem. It's like on this one, they're either broken off or they're melted.
Fossilized.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's really hard to get. It's really hard to get them out. As you can see, that one's flat, that one's broken off, and this one here is melted. It's kind of hard to see, but this one is melted and snapped off. So it is what it is. Oh yeah, there is a brush under there. Ha! This one is a fairly early number 2, so it doesn't have the serial number in the middle of the basket. I cannot fit a pencil in here, but anyway, it would normally be on that ring in the middle. Let's see.
We trust you.
Yeah, it's hard to show because anyway, you can see sort of around the middle in there. That's where the serial number mostly is on these machines, but this is an earlier model where it's actually, I believe it's actually down here somewhere, and I can't see it because I'm trying to hold up. Yeah, it's somewhere back there, as opposed to it being in the middle. It's actually in a normal place, which is the Smith Premier 1 it's also back here somewhere.
Diane, those are bottom strike typewriters or blind writers, I guess, are they?
Yeah, yes, they are. Ouch.
Can you lift up, because I think I saw you lift up the platen there before. How does that work?
Okay. So
Type.
well, yeah.
Type, yeah.
Yes, it actually does work.
Oh.
And you
Oh,
just
cool.
lift this up, and there's like let's see if I can. Ouch, cat! You're digging into my back. There's like a little rail here that the platen rests in.
Huh.
Assistance here. Okay. Whoop. So it's right here. Can you see what I'm pointing at?
Yeah.
So the platen rests in there, and you just lift on this.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it just raises it up.
I'd be doing that a lot if I had one of those.
Well, yeah, I do too. Go
So
ahead.
Diane, do you type with it like an organist would do a 2-bank organ, like one hand on the upper keyboard and one hand on the lower?
No, I just do it kind of normal.
Yeah.
I haven't tried to do the stuff in that book that I showed you guys last week or week before. The Smith Premier, how to type with the Smith Premier. It's like, yeah, it'd be cool to have a picture of the keyboard so I can just like, okay, try and touch type on that. But most of the time it's just normal, lowercase, and then you can theoretically do the uppercase the same way because it's the same layout.
Yeah.
It's just, your home row on the lowercase is 2 rows, or there's 2 rows, and then you have the home row for the uppercase.
Yeah. Oh, looks interesting.
Yeah.
I notice I'm the only antiquer, if you want to call it antique typer here.
Well, actually, is Sarah Jane has a Blick.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mhm. Yeah, I just got it, and I'm obsessed with it already. Like the Victorian Edwardian period is just my favorite.
Uh-huh.
Excellent. So you're not alone, Diane.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Sarah, do you have interest in getting more of that era of typewriters, or you're okay with that one, or?
I mean, I'm delighted with the one that I have, but if I found another one that spoke to me, I would totally go for it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Sean, what are you doing there?
You guys know what today is? It's important that we probably all wear our
it's
helmets.
D-Day.
Oh,
It's
it's
D-Day.
D-Day.
Oh.
Oh, indeed.
So I shouldn't be typing on a German typewriter, is what you're saying?
Not unless you want it to blow up in your face.
Ooh. Yeah, no, it's D-Day, and I thought, I should wear my helmet. I don't get to wear this much. When I do, the cops always stop by, and I just. What
Why
are you
did
doing,
they
sir?
stop by?
Well, because they're wondering why I'm running around the front yard in my helmet and my army uniform.
Oh.
If you put your clothes on, they wouldn't stop by.
That's what I was forgetting, my pants.
Sean, are you a veteran?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I joined. Well, that's a very loose term. I joined the Navy and then went for intake and then stopped going because I got a good job and decided not to proceed with my beyond my basic training. So I didn't actually go off into service. So I don't consider a veteran in that way. I just considered I got a job that I liked, that I could stay at home, and did that instead. But yeah, I did join the Navy and go through with everything, and then went off, and then pretty quickly came back because decided I like being at home more. So I got a helmet though.
Yeah.
I went to the Navy and all I got was this stupid helmet.
Oh, that's funny.
I gotta go, you guys. Thanks for.
See you, Care.
Thanks for hanging
Yeah,
out.
I gotta go
Bye,
too.
Care.
I gotta get a haircut.
Bye. Happy D-Day.
Yeah, happy D-Day.
Happy D-Day.
Yeah, happy D-Day.
There you go.
Hey,
Yeah,
you're
nice.
dead. Nice.
I had to switch my hat up too.
Yeah.
All
You
I
look-
have
you look
for
good.
the armed forces is a Navy typewriting manual.
Oh, that's pretty
yes.
cool. Yeah. I did run and get my lead holder. Let me spotlight myself here. So it's the Kaweco Sketch Up, and I was way off. It's not 2.5, it's 5.6.
Holy Batman.
So
That's like
Ooh.
a carpenter's pencil.
yeah.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that's
And
nice.
it's interesting because I don't know how it's gonna fit. There we go. When you press the back there,
Yeah.
the little clutch opens.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty stiff mechanism, but you can see it.
Yep. How
There.
do you sharpen that? Do you have to like knife it?
I was trying to remember. I think the back unscrews, and I think there's a little sharpener
A
in
little
there.
sharpener there.
Yeah.
A wide emery board, you can sharpen them.
Yeah. Or a knife, I guess.
A knife.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
Oh no! Actually, it's in the cap.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Here we go. The Navy training courses, edition of 1940 for typewriting.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, that is
cool.
cool.
That's very cool, Diane.
Hold on. Let me switch over.
Is that a manual
All right.
typewriter
You're so
manual?
funny, Sean.
It's a manual typewriter manual. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found this in my parents' basement and figured that. Ooh, what's this? Oh, examples. Yeah, that's cool.
We have Sean
I like
representing the
folded
Navy.
examples in the back.
You can write any which way. You got Army manuals, I got Army hats. You got Navy manuals, I got Navy hats.
Oh, that is so funny. Oh, all right. Any other typing prompts or questions or comments or?
I have a typing prompt, but I'm really nervous to read it because I know it's not good, and I'm just nervous.
No,
Oh, go ahead.
You don't know that it's
Um,
not good.
No, I know it's not good. I'm very confident that it's not good.
Well, actually, one of the rules of the typing prompt is you don't have to read it.
Yeah.
You just give us the gist of it.
Oh, well, it's short, so I would like to read it. I'm just having a hard time breaking up with my friend Hesitation. So, but I'm trying. I'm trying. So one of the reasons why I got into typewriters in the first place almost 3 years ago now is to push myself to do things that were outside of my comfort zone. And in doing that, it's like amazing what you learn about yourself, and the way that you get to learn about yourself through meeting new people. And
Exactly.
so I started buying typewriters thinking, I want to host a type-in. I want to have a collection of typewriters that I can bring to a coffee shop or record store or whatever, and get one going. I thought that's what would happen. And then life was just too busy. And then, as you know, COVID.
Yeah.
So one day I'm hoping that I can put all my typewriters to use again in the process of evangelizing. So
Yeah, definitely. That's an excellent goal.
yeah, so I'm going to read this because otherwise I won't.
Yay!
I will just continue to hesitate. Well, I should preface it with I've never actually gifted a typewriter. I've sold two, one through eBay, and that was a very disappointing experience. So I will not do that again. And the amount that I paid to get the typewriter versus the amount that I ended up getting by selling the typewriter basically made it a typewriter that I gave away, sadly.
Yeah.
But I did sell one to somebody in person, and that was such a good, exciting experience and feeling that I would like to be able to do that again someday. So, okay, I'll read this. Who would I gift a typewriter to, and what machine would it be? I really have no idea, but I have 5 kids, so I need a lot of typewriters. So it's fair when I die. No, that's too morbid. Besides, I realize I have no control over what happens after I'm gone, and hopefully that is a long time away anyway. I'd be excited to gift any of my typewriters someday if the right person comes along. But all of my typers have some issue that, in my mind, render them not good enough to. I think I'm making excuses not to get rid of machines. Well, all I know is the feeling of sending a typewriter off with someone who is excited to have it is a feeling I can't get enough of and hope to be able to experience again soon. Let's get that type-in planning ball rolling again so I can meet up with other local typewriter enthusiasts and evangelize on behalf of these awesome machines.
Very good.
Yay.
Thank you. Did it.
Julie,
that was actually
great. And I'll say that I liked it because you used your own voice, as if you were speaking, and that's how you wrote that. And I think that was great. So I liked it.
That's great.
I had a high school English teacher that told me I didn't have a voice in my writing. So I think I've been on a quest to prove her wrong, ever since then.
Style and tone, it's dependent on the situation in your audience, and it's the right time for the right place, but there's really no right time and no right place for any. Yeah, I think you were good.
Yeah, just got to do it and not
Just got to do it.
not hesitate. Yeah.
Yeah. Say, saying someone doesn't have a voice, that's one of those criticisms that it's hard to decipher it. It's like, what do you mean? I don't have a voice, like, well, if I don't have a voice, then what do I do about that? So I think it's an incorrect assessment, first of all. I think it's impossible to not have a voice.
Yeah.
And how discouraging for a high school teacher to say that anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
I know. I look back and I think that maybe what she meant was just that I was like I wasn't using my own voice. I was using something that I thought sounded right. And since it wasn't really like coming from the heart or whatever, it wasn't coming across as it was lifeless. It was kind of just lifeless. So figuring out a way to put hesitations aside and just like kind of step into my own or whatever. That's what I'm trying to do.
It almost sounds to me like you're saying that your high school teacher was saying she could not read your personality in your writing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was trying to hide it a little bit because it comes out more like this. This is like really how I am. And I think it's silly and like, I think it's bad, but I don't know why I think that. It's fine.
I know that when I used to type letters to my dad in England when he was still alive, I would get a phone call back from every letter I sent. And he said that he could really see my personality coming through on the paper in the letters.
That's great.
I would just keep him caught up with what's happening around here, what's happening with the family over here, and everything else.
Yeah.
Next time somebody tells you you don't have a voice, you punch them in the throat and then say, you don't have a voice.
No, So I was going to say, if you're interested in organizing a type-in, there's probably several of us here in the club that have organized type-ins. I know Ted has experience in being involved in organizing them, and I've organized a few here in Albuquerque. So, maybe we can have a discussion about that another time, another Sunday, about what are the tips for organizing a type-in.
Definitely. Yeah, I would like to know that as well. I've never even been to one, so this is the closest I've been to one. So
yeah, I'd love to do that too. Because here in Memphis, I gotta see what the interest is here in Memphis or Cordova. I know I'm in a writers group that meets every other Saturday night. And when I mention my typewriters, they're like, yeah, that sounds inspirational and stuff like that. And I show them my typewriters and they're interested in, in getting one. And I was gonna let them borrow them and stuff like that. So yeah, it's an interest here, but how big of one I need to figure out.
I think you would have a lot of success in Memphis, just knowing the size of town it is and the kind of culture that's now there. There's a lot of people. Yeah, see, there you go, Ted. The Phoenix Typewriter Roundup.
Oh, do I have to make a sign?
Yeah.
You need some. If you don't think you're talented enough to do it yourself, just get somebody to do some graphic arts, a poster kind of thing. Spread it on social media and get some kind of a venue that they can host it. Like in Phoenix, they're really lucky to have the First Draft Book Bar associated. And so it's a bookstore with a bar that serves beer and wine, and they have a meeting room, and it's perfect venue for a typewriter kind of thing. Here in Albuquerque, I had a harder problem finding venues, but we luckily found a paper store, Penny Smith's Paper, and we do type out. So they don't have room in their store, but they have a covered breezeway patio in front of their shop. So we set up tables there. And so it's just finding a sort of a commercial business that wants to help you either as a venue or whatever, and to kind of help market it, spread the word in your local newspapers, on social media, bring a bunch of tables and chairs and have fun. And it helps to have a few people to help you, a few typewriter buddies in town that can help it. help with it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
Yeah.
basically it. There were no type ins here in Albuquerque, and I decided I'm going to organize one because I want to see it happen here. So I had to kind of learn how to do it. But I went to Tucson. I went to Phoenix and with Ted and the other people there and kind of attended a few of them first. And that gave me a lot of good ideas.
Okay.
And you know, once you do it, you're going to be surprised at how many people just show up. If you do any kind of advertising at all, or any kind of, you know, flyering or anything like that, you know, if you get the word out there, people will show up.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's this one?
I found a Sunday afternoon is really a good time. You know, Sunday noontime in the afternoon.
After Typewriter Club Live.
That I could talk to and see. It's like a coffee bar, coffee shop. So I'm going to talk to them. It's called Other Lands.
Oh.
So I'm going to talk to them and see.
Bob is off camera right now, but Bob and I were meeting kind of in the basement of this coffee shop in downtown Riverside. We were just getting going with that when this whole coronavirus started. So, but it was fun, you know, typing out in public, and it would be better if it was in a more visible location. I'm sure a lot of people that go in there for coffee don't even go down to the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a couple that came down to play games because you know they have like chess and checkers down there, but I think that, you know, they were interested in something else, but that's okay.
Also, don't forget libraries. If you
yes,
can organize a type in at a library, you got a huge built-in group of at least young people who will show up and
right.
Yeah, library's done like photography classes and stuff like that for free, and my daughter went to that. So that's interesting. I could bring typewriters in there because I have close to 25 of them.
Yeah, and there's a literature connection, obviously, with mid 20th century writers and typewriters. So if you find the right staff member at a library that wants to help you with it, they can do some really great marketing with it and help promote it.
You want to speak to probably either the adult programmer, or you could alternatively go the route of a children's programmer, but most likely it would be the adult programmer that might be
interested. For adults first, yeah.
Yeah, and but let me tell you, and I know this from experience, we're always looking for ideas for programs that we can have in the library. And I mean, if you just offer them one on a platter, they're going to jump at the chance. So,
yeah.
Cool.
I think though, a lot of my machines do have they have small issues. I would say probably 95% of them could use a new platen. That's just kind of a given because they're all old. But then the ones that I've picked up here and there that have a couple of keys that are either they're sticky keys and the thing just needs to be cleaned out, or the linkages are broken. And I have an Olympia SM4 that I think it needs new washers to hold the body away from the frame or something, because it's rubbing, the carriage is rubbing. So there's pretty much a little issue with every single typewriter that I have. And I'm do I just show up with 20 kind of broken, mostly working machines? Are people going to want to? Well, I guess people would want to use them. I mean, I use them. I can use them.
They won't even notice. They won't even
You're right.
notice.
They wouldn't know. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Olympias are an easy fix, though, with those
Yeah.
washers. That's the first thing on any Olympia. On any Olympia portable that I do is okay. Do this first, and then see how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have found that the trick to replacing those washers is, once you get the right thickness of rubber tap washers or whatever, is to lay the typewriter on its upside down on a pillow, loosen all 4 screws, 4 turns each, but only take 1 screw out at a time. Because if you take all 4 screws at a time, If you take all four screws out at once, the mechanism goes off squiff, and you have a real pain trying to get everything lined up again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's also the space bar is rubbing up against the front like bar of the body, like it gets stuck
That's a
down.
related issue.
Okay.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
replace
it was
the
so
washers,
disappointing.
that'll probably clear up.
Okay.
Those washers cause an enormous number of varied problems in an SM.
Yeah.
And you can fix a lot of that just by replacing those washers.
Okay.
The
That
space
needs to be
between
like
the-
moved up to
yeah.
the top list,
Yeah.
the top machine, because it has a really pretty typeface. I think I don't know if it's called Congress because it's an Olympia. I don't know if they called it Congress.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, I love that typeface.
Well, buy yourself 4, hose washers, hose bib washers, and spend about 10 minutes pulling them out of the bottom and replacing them one at a time, and you'll have a nice new machine.
Okay.
You can do it.
Have faith.
You can do it.
Challenge accepted.
So Emily, you might have some other typewriter people in your area, perhaps, that maybe you can connect to in Facebook or somewhere that might be
Maybe.
more
I'm sure there
comfortable.
are. I'm not
Yeah.
really socially connected. I'm not very social.
But
Actually,
that's
no,
a
I just-
resource, right? It's a
Yeah,
resource.
that would definitely be a way to reach a lot of people. And I live in like near a college town, so
Oh yeah.
summer's
part of
not
the
the
country
best
are you
time,
at?
but like fall.
Yeah. What part of the country are you in?
I'm in Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm near Lansing, so MSU. We're near
Yeah,
that.
there's got to be some other typewriter people that have experience that can give you some confidence about doing that kind of simple maintenance. You know what I mean? That help you with it. Because sometimes you need that encouragement and have people show you how to do it.
Oh,
Not
definitely.
everybody is
I
a
need
born.
encouragement all the time. Like I think I want to put a Craigslist ad out for a personal cheerleader. So somebody that will just follow me along, follow me around all day long, cheering me on.
Phoenix Typewriter has a video on swapping out the washers on an Olympia
Okay.
SM3 or 4 or both.
Write that down.
Yeah. Any other typing prompts or questions or comments? I do want to say
done.
I and we want to see that definitely. I will say that I need to set up the next prompts. I haven't scheduled those yet, and I will mention that the 20th we are not going to be having the club, unfortunately. Well, it's first of all it's Father's Day, and basically we do have plans that day, so we're gonna have to skip that week, but the rest of the weeks we will be here. So yeah. But you're almost done, Diane?
Yep.
You're on the last row or the last keys or what?
I have 7 if you include the 7 left if you include the space bar.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Wow.
So I have the okay, so
Those are
2, 4,
gross.
6, 7. Yeah, they really are. And the platen, it's like it's dimpled.
Yeah.
Though I think I've had one of mine look actually worse than that.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see dimples on a platen.
Yeah.
On a computer screen.
Doesn't
Probably not.
A little bit, but
A little bit, yeah. But yeah.
I've seen typewriter patterns look just like corn cobs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, one of my other Smith Premiers had one like that, and it's like, ew. So that eventually had to get changed out because it's like, no. We want to be able to use these.
It almost seems like the rubber on the platens goes through different stages of degradation. When it's new, it has resilience and bounces back. When it gets to a certain age, it's still soft but has no resilience, so it will take impressions of the type slugs. Then once it gets old enough, then it just gets hard.
And slides like this one does.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I have a platen that's really bad on a 2 roll 10s, right? It's a 1921 and a 1925, I think. Okay, and the one that's a 1921, the platen is ripped, like it's busted completely. Okay, so like that. Then I decided I'm going to take the platen from the 1921 and switch it with that one, because that 21 was going to be my just sit up machine. It was a repaint and it's just going to sit up, right? So I was going to switch the platen out and use the platen in the sitting machine because I don't need it, right? I'm not going to be using it, and put the better platen from the sitting machine into the one I want to use. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They're the same machine, but I don't know if I know how to get it out of there because it's different. But that's what my plan was with that, because I wanted to send it off, even though the platen is still hard, it's not soft, but that platen's much, much better than the one that's busted open. It's weird, yeah. I was like, I never saw that. And when I bought it on eBay, I didn't see that. You know how they conveniently have it turned away from the bad part? And then I turned, I was like, oh no. Okay.
Oh.
But it's okay. Hey, they better be lucky I know how to work on them a little bit. Yeah. So, yep. So I plan to switch the platens. Not the carriage. I don't want to switch the carriages, just the platen.
Just the platen. Yeah, you don't want to mess with carriages.
Yeah.
I have a Smith Premier at the shop that I actually want. I need their help to actually take the carriage off, replace a type bar, and then put it back on. I want to be part of that, but because I do not have the experience to do that, because I got a replacement type bar for it from I think it was Greg Foodax.
Well, everybody, I'm going to take off. It has been great spending time with you again.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. Bye, Emily.
And I will see you guys next week, hopefully.
Bye, Joe.
Bye. I enjoyed it a lot. Take it easy. Bye.
All right. Any more questions, comments, show and tell, anything? I think we're good. I don't think Diane's going to finish before we're done. You're making excellent progress, though, and we believe in you, so we'll get it done.
Well, maybe next week I'll do it's like one of the videos I want to do is how to replace a ribbon on these things, but I have yet to figure out how to put a video onto YouTube. So I have the video about how from my Remington you can actually see the typewriter. You can see the writing line as you're typing on it.
Yeah.
Which is it won't work with these. There's not a space to get my boroscope in there. I would love to, but I just can't figure out how to get it up there.
Yeah.
And close enough that you'd actually be able to see something, because I can take the brush out, but unfortunately the way the action is, I'd have to stick it right up in the middle and then it would be hitting the camera. So that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Anyway, labor of love this is, so.
Yeah, true.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. It's a pleasure as always. Nice finally seeing you, Christopher. So
thank you. Nice to see.
You're welcome.
Nice to be able to talk with you.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you next
Take care. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.